Chapter 1881 Exclusive Wanxiang Statue, Compensation for the Two Junior Brothers. Having created the void-shattering source control technique, Yi Tian's strength has reached the level of a 6th-level controller. Afterwards, he appeared in front of the Yan-Yan controller and the Banya controller. At this time, the Yan-Yan controller and the Banya controller were extremely shocked. Senior brother Yi, have you entered the realm of the 6th realm level controller? The half-toothed controller was extremely shocked. Breakthrough by chance. Yi Tian said lightly. Lucky, this is not a fluke, it can only show that Yi Tian's aptitude and understanding are too strong, reaching a level they can't imagine. For example, the half-fang master himself, he is very confident in his talent, but he does not expect to reach the level of the 6th realm master. Even if he obtains the statue of Wanxiang, his goal is only the master of the 3rd and 4th realms. The 6th realm level controller is too far away for him. Two junior brothers, I'm sure to take the myriad statue with me now, and I will take this myriad statue away when I thoroughly study the magic circle here. Yi Tian said. Everything obeys brother Yi's arrangement. The half-toothed controller and the Yan-Yan controller nodded. If they can take it away, it is naturally a good thing. If they comprehend, they can comprehend. If there are other things, they can leave temporarily, but this is not possible in this cave, and once they leave, it will be troublesome to come in. Only rely on Yi Tian's help to come in. Therefore, it is very inconvenient to go out or leave. Now, they haven't gone back for a long time, and even the incarnations have exhausted their energy because they can't hold on, and they don't know everything about the outside world. So, they still want to get out of here. In the following days, Yi Tian studied the magic circle here. With his realm and accomplishments as a 6th realm level controller, he gradually learned a lot about the magic circle here. At this moment, he roughly judged the level of the powerhouse who set up this magic circle. It was probably a 7th level controller or an 8th level controller, but it was not the former Haitsu, so it was not clear. However, it is very likely. As time passed, Yi Tian gradually parsed the magic circle here. Under the circumstance that no one was in control, he was still very confident that he could crack the magic circle and take away the statue of Wanxiang. Of course, he has no way to control the magic circle here, that at least requires the strength of a 7th-level controller or above. He can't reach it yet. This day, Yi Tian was finally able to take the Wanxiang statue with confidence. Numerous seals were displayed from his hands, and the dense seals were integrated into the magic circle, affecting the operation of the magic circle in an instant. Then, Yi Tian grabbed the Wanxiang statue with one hand, grabbed it hard, and moved it away. Success! Yi Tian said excitedly. Afterwards, Yi Tian took Yan-Yan's controller and Banya's controller to leave this paradise of paradise. The Sea of Origin. Yi Tian placed the Wanxiang statue on Mount Tongyang, and the master of Banya and master of Yan-Yan obtained the qualifications to enter Tongyang Mountain and could practice in Tongyang Mountain. And when Yi Tian took out the statue of Wanxiang and placed it in the cultivation time and space of Tongyang Mountain, the Tongyang Pagoda was immediately stunned. Tongyang Pagoda artifact spirit recognized the Wanxiang statue. To be precise, when following the master of Tongyang, he personally saw a great 7-level controller merged with Wanxiang statue and killed another 7-level controller. My master has obtained a statue of Wanxiang. The spirit of the Tongyang Pagoda is somewhat unbelievable. Before, Yi Tian got a lot of boundary river monuments. Although he was surprised, he just thought that Yi Tian was lucky, but now his luck is too bad, he even got a statue of Wanxiang. My master's strength has reached the level of the 6th realm level controller. If it is integrated with the statue of Wanxiang, wouldn't it be comparable to the combat power of the 7th realm level controller? Tongyang Pagoda artifact spirit secretly said. Although Yi Tian is not yet a 7-world level controller, to a certain extent he is equivalent to a 7-world level controller. Accidentally, he has become an artifact spirit in the hands of a 7-level controller, which is enough to be proud of. In the days that followed, the master of Yan-Yan and the master of Banya would occasionally comprehend the statue of Wanxiang and leave occasionally. In fact, it is very difficult for them to make progress now. For example, the controller of Yan-Yan and the controller of Banya, one is the controller of the 1st realm, and the other is the controller of the 2nd realm. They have almost reached their pinnacle. Years of comprehension, it is possible to improve a little bit. This day, Yi Tian discussed a matter with the Yan-Yan master and the Banya master. Tongyang Mountain, the three of them sat together. Yi Tian opened his mouth and said, Two junior brothers, it is not easy for you to comprehend the statue of Wanxiang, and it is not easy to improve. If you keep comprehending, I can't use the statue of Wanxiang to merge and fight. I have a suggestion, I don't know if you agree. Senior brother Yi, please speak. The half-tooth controller knew Yi Tian's plan, but he believed that Yi Tian would give them appropriate compensation. The two junior brothers should know about Tuta, right? Yi Tian said. No, the half-tooth controller and the Yan controller nodded. Yi Tian suggested. I can give you a few small keys, some big treasure boxes and small treasure boxes, and let you open them by yourself, or exchange the small keys for the resources of the Tuta. Among the Tuta, the one world level controller is very important. There are still a lot of treasures that you can be sure of with a second level controller, and there are even many treasures that can help improve your will or control your body. I think your strength should be improved a lot, and it shouldn't be a problem to raise a rank. 1. The Yan controller and the Banya controller have heard that Yi Tian is very lucky, promises good Zhao. He has obtained a lot of small keys, big treasure boxes and small treasure boxes, and even obtained a number of keys, exchanged a lot. Boundary Monument. Although the value of the Jiehe Monument is far inferior to that of the Wanxiang statue, they themselves are taking advantage of Yi Tian, so naturally the requirements cannot be too high. Moreover, some resources are even more helpful to them than the Wanxiang statue, and the Wanxiang statue is more helpful to Yi Tian, but not to them. Therefore, Yi Tian's is more beneficial. If he obtains the resources in the map, at least he has the hope of being promoted to the level of the Three Realms level controller within a certain period of time, which is faster and more effective than slowly comprehending the statue of Wanxiang to improve his strength. The Yan controller and the Banya controller pondered for a while, discussed it again, and finally agreed. Subsequently, Yi Tian discussed the specific compensation with the two brothers and sisters in detail, and in a word, they are satisfied. Chapter 1882 Willing Forms and Primitive Controlling Body. After negotiating, Yi Tian gave Yan's controller and Banya's controller a lot of resources and a lot of key fragments, enough for them to synthesize a large treasure box, a small treasure box and a few small keys. Moreover, Yi Tian promised to continue to collect some key fragments for them in the years to come. The Yan controller and the half-tooth controller naturally accepted it. In the blink of an eye, hundreds of thousands of years have passed. In these hundreds of thousands of years, Yi Tian went to Tuta many times to obtain key fragments, and all the key fragments in exchange were given to the Yan controller and the Banya controller. After this time, Tuta has almost no value. I'm afraid not many eternal controllers will go to Tucheng in the future. Yi Tian murmured. But this has nothing to do with him, he has already obtained the treasure he wants most. Next, Yi Tian began to refine and fuse the statue of Wanxiang. Only after refining and fusion can he use the Wanxiang statue to fight in an instant. Time passed, and the Wanxiang statue was refined by Yi Tian little by little. After a long time, the Wanxiang statue was completely refined by Yi Tian, as if it became a part of his body. At this time, he finally understood why the Wanxiang statue could increase his strength, because the Wanxiang statue contained a terrifying energy, and when this energy was channeled out, his strength could be turned upside down. However, fighting with the Omni statue is not without cost. This energy will shatter the body and control and destroy the body. Unless it is a desperate situation, the Eternal Master is also unwilling to use the statue of Wanxiang to fight. It seems that every use of Wanxiang statue has little effect, but after a long time, it will have too much impact on the foundation of the body. If it is used too many times, the real body will collapse. Almost all eternal controllers have only one real body. Once the real body is abolished, it will really be finished. But Yi Tian doesn't care, he has two real bodies, even if one is abolished, it can be recondensed. Therefore, the Wanxiang statue is simply the perfect treasure, which suits him so well. When you have time, use the Wanxiang statue to test your combat effectiveness. 1. Yi Tian muttered. Right now, he still uses the Wanxiang statue to comprehend the changes in the Tao. For example, the way of time, and the changes of other ways, he wants to improve to 50 million kinds. After all, he has mastered 3,000 Taos. If he has mastered 50 million variations of 3,000 Taos CJFI, even if he has not mastered hundreds of millions of variations of a Tao, he can definitely easily create top-notch origin control techniques. Of course, it is really difficult to do this step. Years go by, 8 million years have passed, and Yi Tian has mastered a lot in the way of time and other changes in the way, but the help is still not very big, at least it can't improve his strength much. As for the body in control, his progress was minimal, and at the 8th level control body, it was extremely difficult to make further progress. In terms of will, the eternal will of the 9th order peak is almost the limit. This day, Yi Tian was in Wanyuan Mountain, sitting in an attic with his elder brother Zhang Yu, drinking and chatting. Yi Tian also wanted to have a good relationship with several brothers and sisters, so he would chat with them from time to time and visit one or two, but there was no purpose. But today, Yi Tian wanted to ask the elder brother Zhang Yu something. Senior brother, my will has been raised to the peak of the 9th order, and I can hardly feel the progress. Is the will of the 9th order peak already the pinnacle of will? Yi Tian asked. The will of the 9th order peak is naturally not the ultimate. Zhang Yu shook his head and said, in the eyes of most eternal controllers, the 9th order peak eternal will is the limit of the will, but in fact, it was created above the 9th order peak will. This level cannot be called the 10th order eternal will. Therefore, in essence, it is still the 9th order peak will. The will fluctuates almost the same, but the essence has changed. The will of this level is called the 9th order will to form a state. Once this state is reached, the will can be transformed into anything, and it can also be the body. For example, the eternal controller only needs a real body. If the will reaches the 9th order transformation, it can be transformed into the body and form the real body of the will. This is not a simple avatar of the will, anyone can do it, but the real body of the will has the same combat power as the main body, and can also comprehend, which is incomparable to the avatar of the will. For example, the master there is more than one avatar of will. The master we usually see is just an avatar of will. 9th order metamorphosis will. Yi Tian has greatly increased his knowledge. If it wasn't for the senior brother to clarify his doubts, he really didn't know. Eldest brother, is it difficult for the 9th order peak will to step into the metamorphosis? Yi Tian asked. Difficult. Zhang Yu sighed with emotion. Many of the 7th-8th level controllers have not allowed the 9th level peak will to step into the metamorphosis, but almost all of the 9 level controllers have mastered the metamorphosis. The 9th order peak will. Then big brother, you? Yi Tian asked. I, by chance, stepped into the realm of volitionalization. Saying that, Zhang Yu waved his hand, the void distorted, and another real body appeared. This is the real body of my will. Zhang Yu introduced. In the next moment, this avatar of will erupted with incomparably terrifying will power, using the power of will to display terrifying power, influencing the rules and energy, and only then could it burst into combat power comparable to the body. Yi Tian used the copy talent to probe the true body of the will, but did not detect any talent, so this avatar of the will does not contain any talent ability. Although it can understand the changes of the Tao, or burst into a terrifying combat power, it still has the same effect as the true body. The difference. Senior brother, can the true body of will not be able to fight for a long time? Yi Tian said again. It's really impossible to fight for a long time. Zhang Yu nodded. Basically, the staying power of the will clone is at most 1/10 that of the real body, and once injured, the recovery speed is a bit slow. After all, it is only the real body of the will, not the real body. But if you go to explore some forbidden places, the will clone is very useful. Even if it falls, at most, it will not be able to condense the will body for a long time, and it will not fall. Yi Tian nodded, indicating that he understood. Eldest brother, if the body in control is raised to the peak of the 9th order, can it continue to improve? Yi Tian asked again. Yes, Zhang Yu affirmed. The body controlled by the 9th rank peak has a body called primitive control on it. The reason for the name is because the Sea of Origin is the first to break the 9th rank control. The great being who is in control of the peak is called the primitive ancestor. If the other party wants to order this name, the latecomer must use it. Zhang Yu explained. Thank you for the advice, big brother. Yi Tian thanked. Chapter 1883 The Fall of the Silver Demon Controller, the Mutation of the 13th Boundary River. Little junior brother, the path of cultivation seems to have extremes, but it seems that there is no extreme. Just like in the era before the master, the will of the metamorphosis and the body controlled by the primitive level do not exist. But someone can break it. When the limit is reached and this realm is created, the realm is broken and moved to a higher level. Just like the master, who has broken the limit of the 10-level controller, and surpassed the realm of the eternal controller by half a step, maybe one day, master and the others will take this step and create a new realm. Zhang Yu Dao. That's true. Yi Tian nodded. Afterwards, Yi Tian chatted with his senior brother Zhang Yu for a long time. The senior brother was a very nice and enthusiastic person. Although it is said that among the 4 senior brothers and sisters, the senior brother is the weakest, but it is still a realm that Yi Tian cannot reach at present. Not long after, Yi Tian said goodbye and returned to his residence to continue his practice. Right now, he has no hope of raising the 9th order peak equal to the metamorphosis realm, but at least he has a goal. As for the body in control, it can only be improved slowly, not in a hurry. And many changes in the Tao also have to be enlightened, and it is also urgent. At his level, each improvement is very difficult, and naturally it is impossible to progress as quickly as before. Time flies, and hundreds of thousands of years have passed. This day, the Eternal Hall in the Void area sent a message to Etienne. The Silver Demon Controller has fallen. It was the white-bearded old man who conveyed the news, so the news must be correct. How could the Silver Demon Controller fall? Etienne was a little curious. Although the Silver Devil Controller is very weak in his eyes, and even contradicts him, but after all, he is an eternal controller in the Void area, so he is naturally concerned and will not ignore this matter. The white-bearded old man said, "We don't know how the Silver Devil Controller fell. According to the information, he hardly went to any forbidden places, and the Silver Devil Controller has always been very timid, but this time he was heading to Fengming City. On the way, silence suddenly fell. He fell so fast that he didn't even deliver any news, and some of the incarnations he left behind also dissipated in an instant. Killed by other Eternal Masters? Yi Tian guessed. It should be so. The white-bearded old man nodded. He didn't doubt Yi Tian, because at Yi Tian's level, if he killed the Silver Devil's controller, he would have killed him long ago and would not wait until today. Therefore, he would come to Yi Tian to talk about the situation. Any suspects? Yi Tian asked. The white-bearded old man shook his head. There are no clues, even if you spy on time and space, you can't find any traces. Spying on time and space is what the Eternal Master likes to do, but if you want to destroy time and space exploration, it is also very easy. Therefore, if the enemy wants to kill the Silver Devil Master, it is impossible to leave traces of time and space. Old man with white beard, go investigate and let me know if you have any clues. Yi Tian said, "It is good." The white-bearded old man nodded. He also knew that it was just the fall of a Silver Demon Controller, and it was not worth Yi Tian to investigate in person. If it was a simple vendetta, Yi Tian would not even take revenge on others. After all, vendettas are very common, and the Silver Demon Controller is not his relatives, so why should he seek revenge? But if it is aimed at the Void area, then he will definitely not stand idly by. After another period of time, the white-bearded old man came to Yi Tian again. The Endless Controller, the situation seems to be a bit complicated. Recently, the number of Eternal Controllers who have fallen in the 13th realm is quite large. The white-bearded old man said. How many of the Eternal Masters have fallen? Yi Tian frowned. Yes, the white-bearded old man said. It stands to reason that the Eternal Master is not easy to fall, and there has been no major incident in the 13th Boundary River recently, so the frequency of fighting between the Eternal Masters is not high, but recently in the year of Wanji River, the Eternal Controller has fallen by more than 3 digits, which is not normal. The 3-digit Eternal Master has fallen. Yi Tian was surprised. Although there are many Eternal Controllers of the number 13 Boundary River, a giant city has one or several Eternal Controllers, and the number 13 Boundary River has to have as many giant cities and as many forces. It can be said that the Eternal Controllers of the No. 13 Boundary River are at least hundreds of thousands, or even more. Therefore, it is not surprising that a few Eternal Controllers died, and even a dozen or so deaths caused some waves. However, the death of more than 3 digits in a short period of time is not normal. For flowers, how did these Eternal Masters die? Yi Tian asked. The white-bearded old man hurriedly said, according to our investigation, most of them fell silently, and the murderer could not be found. Only a few were killed by other Eternal Masters in the process of competing for treasures. It seems that the same Eternal Master or the same force started. What are they doing by killing so many Eternal Masters? Yi Tian was curious. If it is said that it is for killing people and stealing treasures, it does not make sense, because it is possible to easily obliterate so many Eternal Controllers. The strength of the other party must not be weak, and the strength of the Eternal Controllers such as Silver Devil Controllers is too weak, and there must be nothing on them. Good things, no matter how many they are useless to the powerful Eternal Master. Therefore, killing people and stealing treasures is unreasonable. However, the other party must have murdered with a purpose. Afterwards, Yi Tian inquired about the situation in detail, and confirmed that the most powerful one of those Eternal Controllers who were killed was also the 3-level controller. At this time, the white-bearded old man was also the 2nd-level controller, so he was also afraid. Old man with white beard, you have been in the Void area recently, don't run around. Yi Tian exhorted. The white-bearded old man nodded. He did not dare to run around, and stayed in the Void area. There is Yi Tian sitting in the void area, and other eternal controllers cannot easily enter the void area. The void area is the most solid barrier and backing of the eternal controllers. Yi Tian's cloned body went to the residence of the half-tooth controller, and quickly found the half-tooth controller. Senior brother Yi, the half-tooth controller respectfully said. Yi Tian asked directly, Junior brother Banya, do you know that a lot of eternal controllers have been killed recently in the know? 13 J. Hey. The eternal master was killed? I really don't know. The half-tooth master shook his head. He is now a second-level controller anyway, and he is about to reach the third-level controller, so naturally he seldom pays attention to the weakened eternal controller. Then, Yi Tian briefly explained the situation. After the half-tooth controller knew, he frowned and said, this situation is somewhat familiar. Familiar? Yi Tian's expression changed. Could it have happened before? Chapter 1884. Swallow the heavenly sect and wait for the rabbit. The half-tooth master nodded. It did happen, but it was a long time ago. Did you find out who did it then? Yi Tian asked. Swallowing heaven, the half-tooth controller said with a look of fear. This is a very terrifying sect that originated from the Sea of Origin, and many years ago, when I was only a 5-domain level controller, and more this incident happened in GGA, and it attracted the attention of some major forces in the source realm. Only then did a detailed investigation begin, and it was finally found out that it was done by the Swallowing Heaven. Killed. In the end, the major forces surrounded and killed the life-swallowing religion. Although the life-swallowing religion was powerful, it was not very powerful after all. It is said that the leader of the life-swallowing religion was Tu Huang, a direct disciple of Haitsu, who was controlled by the 9 realms. He was eventually killed by a 10-realm level controller. And because of this, Heizu was sealed by a 953, great existence that surpassed the 10 realms. Heizu was sealed because of this. Yi Tian suddenly realized. Immediately, he asked curiously, so, the life-swallowing religion is gone? It is indeed gone, the half-tooth controller affirmed. Almost all the controllers of the life-swallowing sect have been killed, and the great beings have personally investigated, none of them have escaped, and all have been killed. Now there are similar. It is very likely that a certain force that has obtained the inheritance of the heaven-swallowing sect started. Why did the swallowing heaven sect do this? Could it be that they have great benefits in killing those eternal masters? Yi Tian asked. The half-tooth controller nodded. It is indeed a great benefit. It is said that the swallowing heaven sect possesses a terrifying secret technique called the heaven-seizing technique, which can devour an eternal controller and deprive the other party of his perception of the changes in the Tao. There may not be many changes in the Tao of an eternal master, but when there are more people, there will be more changes in the Tao. This is a shortcut, so the eternal masters who were taught by Tiantian were so crazy. And this kind of secret art? Yi Tian was dumbfounded. If there were really eternal masters who had obtained this kind of secret technique, how many would be able to hold back? After all, many eternal masters have comprehended countless years without making any progress. If they have obtained this kind of secret technique, they do not need to practice on their own. They will naturally find a way to devour other eternal masters and plunder their perceptions of change above the Tao. It seems that this time, it is very likely that the power that obtained the secret technique of heaven seizure can't help it, and this is the time to attack other eternal controllers. Yi Tian murmured. Certainly, it is also possible that the other party has already done this, but it was done slowly at the beginning, and it took a long time to kill an eternal controller. Now that the other party's strength has reached a bottleneck, he can't help it, and the madness begins. Slaughter one eternal master. Moreover, this kind of thing may not only be carried out in the number 13 boundary river, the other party may also start in other boundary rivers, spread out, and cause not much attention. Yi Tian doesn't know what the opponent's strength is. If he is only a 7-realm level controller, he can use the myriad phase statue to compete against 1 or 2. However, if he is an 8-realm level controller, he can crush himself to death with one hand, and even pay the price to rush to death. Enter the void area and kill your own deity. It must be reported to Wanyuan Mountain. Yi Tian thought to himself. So, after he separated from the Banya controller, he immediately entered Wanyuan Mountain and reported the matter to the Master Ten Xing ancestor. Teacher, this trivial matter, don't disturb your teacher, go find your 4th senior sister, Shui Nb. Ten Xingzu said. Yes, Yi Tian replied. Immediately, Yi Tian came to look for Snow Maiden. Little junior brother, please take a seat. The Snow Girl General Yi Tian welcomed him into his residence. 4th senior sister, I came to ask for your help. Yi Tian requested. What's the matter? Snow Maiden asked. Immediately, Yi Tian spoke out about the Swallowing Heaven sect. I said it to the master, but the master said that this is a small matter, so let me come to you. When Shui Nu heard that it was the Heaven Swallowing sect, she immediately frowned. I didn't expect this force to appear again, but it is unlikely to be the Heaven Swallowing sect. The Heaven Swallowing sect has already been destroyed, and it should have just acquired the inheritance of the Heaven Swallowing sect. It's just a small force. Of course, if the other party has been cultivating the Heaven Seizing technique for a long time, their strength is probably not weak now, and maybe there is a controller comparable to the 7th or even 8th world level. Immediately, Shui Nu told Yi Tian, little junior brother, if you have obtained the Heaven Seizing technique, don't be tempted by it, this secret technique is flawed. What flaw? Yi Tian asked. Shui Nu introduced. The art of seizing the sky is to rob others of their perception of change in the Tao, but once they are robbed of others' comprehension, they will lose something, such as the loss of their original heart, will, and even the disgust of their origin. The technique is too long, and after being rejected by the Sea of Origin, it cannot even be immortal, which means that there will be a lifespan problem. The Eternal Master is originally beyond the lifespan, but the sky-snatching technique will make the lifespan come again, although it is still you can live for a long time, but in the end there will be a day of fall. But even so, there are still people who can't help temptation to practice it. Moreover, many eternal inheritors who have practiced the heaven-seizing technique firmly believe that once they surpass the 10 realms level palm, the controller, who has not reached the level of the master, ignores the rejection of the Sea of Origin and will no longer be limited by lifespan. Therefore, they are crazy, and the goal is to become a master-like existence. Even, they felt that the heaven-seizing technique gave them the hope of breaking the level of master and entering a new realm. It's so crazy. Yi Tian was surprised. I have to say that the heaven-seizing technique is indeed terrifying, but the sequelae are too great, and even if it is given to him, he will not be able to practice it. After all, he has an infinite future, so why destroy his foundation? Subsequently, Shui Nu gave Yi Tian a messenger and asked him to send her a message immediately if there was a situation or danger, and she would come immediately. Fourth senior sister, then junior brother, I will leave first. Yi Tian said. Then, Yi Tian left Wanyuan Mountain 5.8 and went to find the inheritance of the Spring Sect inheritor in person. Time passed slowly. In the number 13 Boundary River, there were still Eternal Masters killed, but the targets of the opponent's jump were weaker Eternal Masters, so it was difficult to catch the trace of the opponent. And, there are too many Eternal Controllers, and he can't supervise them alone. Therefore, Yi Tian was going to use the method of waiting for the rabbits, guarding a weaker second-level Eternal Controller, secretly tracking, whoever kills him, he can catch the other party. This second-level controller is named Baihua Controller. He is a very ancient Eternal Controller. He has mastered a lot of changes in the way of time, so he is likely to be targeted. The most important thing is that the Birch Controller has been traveling more frequently recently. I hope someone will take action on the Birch Controller. Yi Tian secretly said. Chapter 1885 The Strength of Futian Sect. Time passed slowly. Yi Tian was not in a hurry and waited silently. This day, the White Birch Controller was about to go to another place, and he shuttled in the void of the Boundary River of the 13th Boundary River. At this time, he didn't worry about anything. After all, the matter of swallowing the heavens had not spread. Even if many Eternal Controllers disappeared, if no one promoted it, the Baihua Controller would naturally be unclear. Otherwise, he would definitely hide and not dare to go out at will. Yi Tian followed behind the White Birch Controller. With his strength, the White Birch Controller would naturally not be able to perceive it. Originally, Yi Tian thought that this time he was busy again, but at this moment, he sensed a special fluctuation. A fish is hooked, Yi Tian secretly said. The White Birch Controller was frozen, time and space were stagnant, he could not compete with the unknown powerhouse, and could only watch himself being captured by the opponent. But just as the other's big hand was about to grab him, a voice came. The controller of the 3 realms is very courageous. As soon as the words fell, Yi Tian shot. I saw that Yi Tian performed 9 flashes of thunder, instantly came to 29's opponent, and lightly slapped the opponent's body. To Yi Tian, the controller of the 3 realms is like an ant. If he wants to kill him, he can instantly kill him. But Yi Tian didn't want to kill him for the time being, so he wanted to save his life. Because Yi Tian is very clear, this 3 realms level controller is definitely not the person behind the scenes. If the person behind the scenes is only the 3 realm level controller, he would never dare to be so arrogant. Boom! The body of this 3 realms level controller was cracked, his will was broken, and he was seriously injured and dying. Immediately, Yi Tian sealed it directly. I have seen the Endless Master. The Baihua controller recognized Yi Tian and said respectfully. At this moment, he was very fortunate. He thought that he would definitely die, but he did not expect that Yi Tian would actually help at a critical moment, which was a coincidence. And he didn't know that Yi Tian had followed him for a long time, otherwise he would definitely show an extremely strange look. The Baihua controller, if it's okay, don't go out recently. Yi Tian reminded, it can be regarded as making up for following him. Why? Baihua's controller was a little puzzled, but when he thought about it carefully, he didn't seem to have offended the Three Realms level controller. Why did the other party attack him? This is the controller of the Three Realms, far surpassing his existence. He is always respectful when he sees it, how dare he offend him? Some things, knowing more is not a good thing. Yi Tian said. I understand. Baihua's controller knew that the matter must be serious, and coupled with this attack, he immediately did not dare to go out and went back immediately. And Yi Tian took this Three Realms level controller to the Tongyang Mountain in the Sea of Origin realm. Endless Master, let me go. The Three Realms level controller said coldly, but he was still very frightened in his heart, just forcibly calmed down. Master of the Blood, you should have practiced the heaven-seizing technique. You asked me to let you go, do you think it's possible? Yi Tian said with a smile. You know me. Two Bloody controller is blinded. He is not famous at all, he has been cultivating secretly, and before he became the Eternal Master, he was just a little scoundrel. And how could the Eternal Master like Yi Tian know him at a glance? The Master of the Blood is naturally unclear. Yi Tian learned his name through the exploration of copying talent, but more things cannot be known. Therefore, he needs to capture the Master of Taishui and interrogate some information. Don't worry about how I know you, in short, you should explain it honestly, otherwise you will be worse off than dead. Yi Tian said coldly. Tongyang Mountain. Yi Tian returned with the Supreme Blood Controller. How to interrogate at the beginning, the Tai Blood Controller did not reveal any information. Moreover, Yi Tian also knew the news of his arrest of the Taishui controller, and the forces behind him must have known. After all, the Master of the Blood must have an incarnation to stay in other places, and he can't prevent the information from being passed out. But he expected that the other party could not save people, otherwise he would fall into his plan. Subsequently, Yi Tian learned all kinds of tormenting secrets from the book collection pavilion in Wanyuan Mountain, and used it to entertain the masters of Taishui. He didn't believe that the Two Bloody controller would keep silent. The Sea of Origin. In a mysterious place, a group of Eternal Masters are negotiating here. Two Blood was caught. Who caught it? He is also the controller of the Three Realms. If the opponent is attacked by a group of weak people, could it be that they will miss it? It is the Endless Controller from the 13-realm river, the opponent is the 6-realm grade controller, the talent is extremely enchanting, and it is said that he is also the direct disciple of the 10 Elements ancestor. A direct disciple of the 10 Elements ancestor. That's troublesome, we can expand the 10-8. Two Blood is too careless, and was caught by the Endless Controller. What to do now? If the Bloody Controller reveals our existence, it will be dangerous. 1. Move the headquarters first, just in case. As for the incarnation of the Supreme Blood Controller, control it first. In addition, those members whose names are known to the Supreme Blood Controller should be hidden first. Then do it. Soon, this group of Eternal Masters disappeared. Years go by. Yi Tian kept torturing the Master of Taishui, and many of the tormenting secret techniques were acting on the opponent's will. He was like an ordinary person who was tortured countless times. His will seemed to collapse again and again, and in the endless torture, his state of mind finally couldn't bear it anymore. Please, give me a treat. The Two Bloody controller said weakly. He wanted to commit suicide, but couldn't. Yi Tian would stop him every time he killed since 953. At this moment, he was really scared. Tell me, which force do you come from, and who is behind it? Yi Tian questioned. The Master of Taishui said. I said, the faction I belong to is called the Futian sect, and its purpose is to reproduce the glory of the heaven-swallowing sect. It has existed for countless years and has a total of 108 members. Only the Eternal Controller can join it. Moreover, each Eternal Controller can recommend one person to join the Fortian religion and learn the heaven-seizing technique. The Fortian religion cannot develop too many people, otherwise everyone will practice the heaven-seizing technique, which is equivalent to giving find your own competitors. As a result, the number of people in Fortis has always been small. And my status in Fortian is not high, only ranked 73rd. Fortune sect has 3 vice sect masters, each of whom is above the 7th-level controller. It is said that the leader's strength is very likely to be in the 8th-level controller, but the leader has not appeared for a long time, and I don't see it either. I don't know if I got to him, so I don't know. In addition, the identities of several vice hierarchs and hierarchs, even members of the top 30, are life-saving. I am not qualified to know. I can only tell you which other members there are, I really don't know about the rest. Afterwards, the master of Taishui said a series of names, and Yi Tian memorized them one by one. After confirming that the other party didn't lie, Yi Tian shot and killed the Taishui controller and relieved the other party's pain. Chapter 1886. You must attack Yi Tian. After Yi Tian killed the Taishui controller, he took his things, including an inheritance. It turned out to be the inheritance of the heaven-seizing technique. Yi Tian was a little surprised that the master of Taishui still kept this inheritance. However, he is also reluctant to destroy it. After all, such an inheritance is very difficult to create. Once destroyed, even the master of the blood will not be able to create another inheritance. After all, there is no way for him to directly teach it to others, he must still pass it on. It's ruined. Yi Tian directly destroyed the inheritance of the heaven-seizing technique. It is better to destroy this secret technique as much as possible. If the secret techniques are not completely destroyed or banned, there will still be eternal masters to practice the sky-snatching technique, and the problem still cannot be solved. At this time, Yi Tian was thinking about another thing, that is, whether to publish the list of the members of the Futian sect who have practiced the heaven-seizing technique. But once it was announced, if someone was greedy for the heaven-seizing technique, what they wanted was to kill the members of the Fortune sect to obtain the heaven-seizing technique, and they would find opportunities to cultivate the heaven-seizing technique in the future, which would be bad. After all, many eternal masters have had enough, and they are afraid of not being able to progress, not lifespan, so those sequelae, people don't care at all. Therefore, this situation is very likely to happen. It's better not to announce it. For every person killed, one person will be announced. Yi Tian said lightly. Subsequently, Yi Tian announced the news that the master of Taishui was a member of the Futian sect, and the Futian sect was a mysterious force that had cultivated the heaven-seizing technique. When the news spread, it immediately caused an uproar among countless eternal controllers. At the beginning, they still didn't understand the terrifyingness of forever heaven, but as soon as the news spread, the eternal masters knew the terrifyingness of the heaven-seizing technique, both longing and fearful. The members of Fortune sect didn't panic when they saw their faction's name being exposed. But they found that the list of their members did not seem to be exposed, so there was a fluke. What if the masters of Taishui had the backbone and didn't reveal their names? That way, they're still safe. After all, only one Fortis name was exposed, and it had little effect on them. However, what they didn't know was that the names of dozens of Futian sect members had already been known to Yi Tian. Hidden is so deep, it's even hidden. Yi Tian muttered. Obviously, the other members of the Fortune church, seeing that their identities might be exposed, went into hiding one by one. However, Yi Tian didn't believe that these members of the Fortune sect would always hide and not show their faces. For example, some of the members of the Fortune sect had their own families and relatives, so they would definitely show up. And Yi Tian was secretly spying. As long as the other party appeared in the investigation of the copy talent, they would not be able to escape. Time passed slowly, and hundreds of thousands of years passed by in a blink of an eye. During this period of time, the actions of the members of the Fortune sect have been reduced a lot. After all, they have already been exposed. In addition, many weak eternal controllers have been hiding, and it is not easy to hunt them down. This day, Yi Tian is in the territory of the Chen family in the original world, and uses the talent of copying to spy on the situation of the Chen family all the time. Finally, he sensed the master of Luo Yu, the ancestor of the Chen family. The master of Luo Yu finally appeared. Yi Tian muttered. This eternal controller is also a 3-realm level controller, and his strength is not weak. Chen family. The controller of Luo Yu came back secretly, seeing that the Luo family was well, and his heart was at ease. Afterwards, he ordered some things and was ready to leave. But at this moment, the surrounding void was solidified, and a terrifying aura descended. Endless Master. Luo Yu's controller was full of despair. He didn't expect that Yi Tian had been squatting in Luo's house all the time. Is it necessary? The eternal controller is just such a real body. In his opinion, Yi Tian can't stay near his house all the time. Even after such a long time, there was no problem with the forever religion. He thought that he had not been exposed. Who knows, Yi Tian is too cloudy. Immediately, the Luoyu controller passed this information to the other controllers of Futian sect, and immediately prepared to escape. However, click, the Luoyu controller was caught by Yi Tian with one hand, and there was no way to escape. Endless Master, why did you attack me? The Luoyu controller still wants to play stupid. But Yi Tian said indifferently, Futian sect member Luoyu controller, your companion has already confessed to you. Damn too bloody controller, the Luoyu controller said angrily. If it wasn't for the too bloody controller, he wouldn't be able to do anything now. He hates. Endless controller, spare me. Luoyu's controller still didn't want to die, so he begged for mercy. What do you think? Yi Tian sneered. Immediately amidst the screams, Luoyu's controller turned into powder and disappeared completely. At this point, Luoyu's controller has fallen. Soon, the news of the fall of Luoyu's controller was known to forever. Immediately, Futian Church was very angry. Luoyu has also fallen. He is different from Taishui. Taishui was caught when he attacked the controller, and Luoyu has not acted recently. Obviously, the Taishui controller exposed the information. Not only the Luoyu controller, the information of other members is also in the hands of the Endless controller. 1. Then what should I do? I can't hide it all the time. Once it appears, it will be discovered by the Endless controller and attacked by him. I suggest killing the Endless controller. As long as the traces of time and space are erased, even the ancestors of the 10 elements may not be able to find us. And the leader is now the controller of the 8 realms. If you give the leader some time, maybe you can hit it. 9 realms level or even 10 realm level controllers. Even if you encounter the 10 line ancestors, there is still hope to escape. That's for sure. Although the 10 elements ancestor has broken the limit of the 10 realm level, no one has seen the 10 Xing ancestors' existence. It is estimated that it is a little stronger than the 10 realm level controller Nuo Li Hao. It's just a point. It's like Lord Haitsu, who is not the master of the 10 realms, was sealed by a great being, or maybe the other party can't kill Lord Haitsu, so he can only be sealed. Therefore, there is nothing good about the 10th ancestor. Afraid. Cough, we still have to be careful, don't be so arrogant, otherwise it will easily end up swallowing the heavenly sect. For a long time, the senior leaders of the Fortian Church discussed it for a long time, and in the end, the leader of the Fortian Church had to decide. The Endless Master kills our members of Futian sect one after another, he must hate us very much, and as a direct disciple of the 10 elements ancestor, his talent must be very enchanting, there may be good things on his body, and he must have a very deep understanding of Taoism. Deep, if you devour him, you will definitely get huge benefits. The head of Futian sect said. Immediately, some high-level officials were moved. If it can devour Yi Tian, the benefits are indeed many. Master, let me go. A deputy leader of the 7 realms level controller opened the mouth and said. Chapter 1887 Senior Sister, come out. Haihei, then you can go. The evangelists agreed. The master of Haihei is the master of the 7 realms, one of the vice-sect masters of Futian sect, and his strength is very powerful. And Yi Tian is only a 6 realm level controller, so naturally he is far from being the opponent of the Haihei controller. With the strength of Haihei's controller, Yi Tian could be killed in a few moves, thus erasing the traces of time and space and escaping easily. At that time, even if the 10 line ancestors came, they might not be able to find any traces. Of course, there will still be some dangers in this operation, but the benefits are also great. If Yi Tian is successfully swallowed, the Haihei controller will have more control over the changes of various Taos. If Yi Tian has any amazing treasures, it will belong to him. At this moment, 40 Heaven still doesn't know that Yi Tian has 2 real bodies, because Yi Tian's real body in the void area has been in seclusion, so no one knows that there is a real body of Yi Tian in the void area. Otherwise, they would not dare to attack Yi Tian casually, after all killing Yi Tian's true body cannot kill Yi Tian. Tongyang Mountain. Yi Tian is doing assiduous cultivation here again. He is very clear that he killed Luoyu's controller, Futian religion must know the situation, and the others must be hiding. Therefore, for a long time in the future, it will be difficult for him to find those eternal masters. If 953 couldn't find it, he would consider whether to reveal the names of the Forsaken members. Of course, he figured out that the Fortian Church would not necessarily sit still, and might come to trouble him. Forever, if you send someone to kill me, it's better to be an 8th level controller, otherwise, a 7th level controller alone can't kill me. Yi Tian muttered. This day, a figure ripped apart time and space, and silently came to the outside of Tongyang Mountain. The eternal controller who came here is the Haihei controller, he is sure that Yi Tian is here. Die. The Haihei controller has shot, and the first shot is the top source control skill, Galaxy 9 kills. Boom. It seems that 9 origin galaxies run through from 9 directions, shattering Tongyang Mountain in an instant. After all, Tongyang Mountain was only established by the masters of Tongyang, and it was not a good place. Therefore, the formations on the periphery could not stop the 9 kills of the galaxy controlled by Haihei, and they shattered one after another, annihilating every place in time and space, turning into nothingness. In an instant, only the last core of Tongyang Mountain remained, which was the Tongyang Pagoda. At the critical moment, Yi Tian reacted, and immediately activated the Wanxiang statue in his body, showing the strength of a 7-realm level controller, which blocked the 9 kills of the galaxy. Heaven's body. The Galaxy 9 kills attack fell on Yi Tian's body and was blocked by Tian Yushin. Immediately, Yi Tian instantly cast the Thunder Body 9 flashes, and immediately cast the Space-Time Splitting Blade. The Space-Time Cracking Blade, the original control technique, turned into a cracking blade, which was held in Yi Tian's hand, and slashed towards the Haihei controller. And the Haihei controller also used a defensive source control technique in time to block the time-space cracking blade. However, the terrifying space power contained in the time-space cracking blade still shook the Haihei controller back. The two sides instantly opened the distance and stood looking at each other. You actually have the strength comparable to that of a 7-realm level controller. The Haihei controller was very surprised. He could sense that Yi Tian did not use the top source control skills, but his strength was too terrifying. External force. The Haihei controller saw it, carefully identified the aura that Yi Tian was exuding at this time, and immediately confirmed it in his heart. You got a statue of all phases. The master of the Haihei River is full of jealousy. The statue of Wanxiang, the treasure that even he dreamed of, actually fell into Yi Tian's hands. If he also obtained the statue of Wanxiang, even if he couldn't beat the 8 realms level controllers, at least he was almost invincible among the 7 realms level controllers, and even had the hope of escaping from the 8 realms level controllers. Kill him and take the Wanxiang statue. The Haihei controller had such an idea in his heart, and the whole person attacked Yi Tian like a madman. Boom. CJFI. Yi Tian and the master of Haihei kept fighting, and the battle between the two sides swept across this area. At this time, Tongyang Pagoda's artifact spirit is very panic. The huge Tongyang Mountain was instantly killed by the enemy. If Yi Tian had not protected it, it would have been annihilated. The master is so powerful that he can even kill a 7th realm level controller. However, I still have to stay away from me so as not to be affected. The spirit of Tongyang Pagoda urged Tongyang Pagoda to move away slowly. Soon, the battle here has attracted the attention of the Eternal Masters, and they have come over. And the person in charge of Haihei also realized that he was in trouble. This is the Haihei controller and the Endless controller. How did these two fight? Oh my god, the master of Haihei is a 7-level master, and the Endless master is a rising star. How could he be able to fight with the master of Haihei? No, the breath is still the ultimate controller, but his strength is comparable to that of the 7 realms level controller. He has used external forces. It's a statue of Wanxiang. The Endless controller combines a statue of Wanxiang to fight against the Haihei controller of the 7th level controller with the strength of the 6th level controller. Could it be that the Haihei master wants to seize the Wanxiang statue on the Endless master, and this is the only way to attack the Endless master? There is a possibility, but the Endless controller is a direct disciple of the 10 Elements ancestor. The Haihei controller doesn't seem to have any background, right? How dare he be so bold? At this time, some Eternal Masters who knew the Endless Masters also came. For example, Yi Tian's Junior and Junior, the 6 realms level controller, the Bright controller. Senior brother Yi has fought against the Master of Haihei. The Light controller was a little surprised. Once upon a time, Yi Tian was still weak in his eyes, but in a blink of an eye he was stronger than him. Endless controller, there is a misunderstanding between us, how about we stop here? The Haihei controller hurriedly said. He was afraid that Yi Tian's senior brother and senior sister would come and it would be troublesome. Do you think it's possible? You should be a member of the Fortune sect. If I let you go, then there will be endless troubles. Yi Tian said loudly. The expressions of many eternal controllers changed when they heard the Fortune religion. The Haihei controller hurriedly said, Endless controller, please don't wrong me. Really? Yi Tian sneered. He wouldn't wrong Haihei's controller, except for Futian religion. He didn't think there would be a 7-realm level controller who would dare to attack him. Senior sister, come out, I have to ask you to take action. Yi Tian said lightly. As soon as the voice fell, a woman came from tearing apart time and space, staring at the master of Haihei. This glance made the person in charge of Haihei shudder and his heart was filled with despair. Snow Girl Controller. Chapter 1888 found it, ready to destroy the Foresight Church. The moment the Haihei controller saw the Snow Maiden controller, his body froze, and his heart was filled with endless despair. This is the master of the Snow Maiden. It belongs to the top existence in the Source Realm C, and it is the existence of the 9 Realms level controller. Even the leader of the Futian sect is not the opponent of the Snow Girl controller now. The attack failed, it's time to escape as soon as possible. The Haihei controller regretted it. Now, he has no hope of escape. The body of the Haihei controller was frozen with ice, almost without any ability to react, so it was frozen by the Snow Girl controller, and immediately turned into a small ice ball and fell into the palm of the Snow Girl. At this time, Yi Tian and the other Eternal Masters were very shocked. This is a master of the 7 realms. It belongs to the top powerhouses in the Source Realm, but now it has been caught by the Snow Maiden controller like an ant. At this moment, many Eternal Controllers saw the strength of the Snow Maiden controller for the first time, so terrifying. Thank you, 4th senior sister. Yi Tian thanked. Little junior brother, I'm going to find you senior brother Heisho. He has a lot of research on the will of the soul, and he can directly absorb his memory fragments and find out the other's nest. Snow Maiden said, then I will trouble 4th senior sister. Yi Tian bowed his hands. 4th senior sister tore apart the time and space and left, and went to another place in the Sea of Origin to find the Black Rotten controller. The Black Rotten controller is the most powerful disciple of the 10 Qing ancestors, and he is already a 10 world level controller. If it was normal, something like Futianjiao would definitely not attract his attention. But on this day, Shui Nu personally came to him for help, so naturally he would not refuse to help. Black Hill, senior brother Haixi, please analyze his memory fragment this time. This is the controller of the 7 realms, so only you can analyze his memory fragment. Shui Nu asked. Junior sister, a 7-level controller, why analyze his memory fragments? Is this guy from an unusual origin? He asked. Immediately, Shui Nu talked about the Futian sect. Forever Heaven sect, heaven seizing technique, I didn't expect this secret technique to exist. He Shu muttered. There are a lot of eternal masters who have secretly kept this secret technique. Even if the Fortian religion is wiped out this time, a Fortis religion or the Swallowing Heaven religion can appear again in the future. Shui Nu said with a smile. If you want me to say, it's enough to destroy He ancestor directly. He came up with the heaven seizing technique. This guy wants to find another way to break the shackles of the 10 realm level controllers. The heaven swallowing sect is one that he came up with. In the experiment, he is the real master behind the scenes. But Haitsu is indeed terrifying. He has mastered hundreds of millions of changes in more than 1,000 ways. This kind of change, in terms of strength, he is indeed invincible at the 10 realm level controller. If it is not at the level of the primitive ancestor, he really can't beat him. Haixi said. Senior brother Haixi, I remember that you played against Haitsu back then, right? Snow Maiden asked. Well, that's a long time ago. At that time, I was just entering the 10th realm level. I played against him and was defeated by him with 3 moves. But now, in terms of strength, I'm not necessarily weaker than him. Haixi the controller is full of confidence. Shui Nu added. Senior brother, He ancestor should practice a relatively complete heaven seizing technique, and all the techniques that have been passed down are those with great side effects. But even so, He ancestor's lifespan has been affected. After all, he devoured it. Many eternal controllers have been rejected by the Sea of Origin, and now that he is counted, his lifespan is probably not long. There shouldn't be many, but he can't get out now. How could he be able to get out of the original ancestor's seal? Unless he can break through the restrictions of the 10-level controller, and step into the master's place. But he is sealed, and he can't even practice, so there is no chance to escape. The Black Rotten controller said. Senior brother Heisho, let's not talk about this, let's deal with the Fortian religion, this kind of power is a scourge. 1 inch. The Snow Maiden controller said. It is good. The Black Rotten controller took over the frozen crystal of the Haihei controller, and immediately grabbed it, and countless black breaths were captured from the soul will of the Haihei controller. Immediately, countless pieces of memory appeared, which could not be hidden at all. Even the memory of making the oath cannot be hidden. The many changes in the oath can't stop the power of the Black Rotten master, and they collapsed one after another, but the memory was not damaged. Ask for flowers soon. All the memories of the Hai controller were taken away by the Black Rotten controller. The Black Rotten controller only absorbs useful information, and all other memories are eliminated. I found it. In the strict sense, Fortune religion does not have a headquarters. It is a relatively idle organization and only has a temporary base. Now, their temporary base is located in an eternal boundary of the 23rd boundary river. This eternal boundary has been transformed. Now, the eternal masters from other places can be allowed to enter without restriction. Moreover, the master of Hai is one of the vice sect masters of Fortune sect. He knows all the information of other members, even the master's information. Pass it on to you. The Black Rotten controller passed all the information to Shui Nu, and he didn't care. After all, in his opinion, a group of the strongest only has the power of the 8 realms controller, but they are not qualified to let him take action. Although in the memory of the Hai controller, Fortune sect still had some good things, but it was not of high value to him, and he did not look down on it. Many thanks to senior brother Heisho. After Shui Nu received the news, she killed the master of Hai and immediately left Haishu Mountain. 4th senior sister. When Yi Tian saw Shui Envy's return, he knew that the matter should be almost resolved. I have found the temporary base of Fortune sect and all the members' information, and I will give it to you. Shui Nu passed the information to Yi Tian. After Yi Tian accepted the letter, she said, 4th senior sister, Fortune sect, take action, I will, but it can't beat the 8 realms level palmers. That's natural, but I can't do it in vain. After destroying the Futian sect, I have to give priority to the treasures I get. Shui Nu said, although senior brother Heisho doesn't look down on the treasures of the Fortune religion, but she likes it. According to the information, the leader of the Fortune religion has a lot of good things, such as a statue of Wanxiang, and it is more precious than the statue of Wanxiang. There are also several treasures. This time it's just a matter of convenience, and there are some gains. She is naturally happy. That's natural. Yi Tian nodded. Chapter 1889. The Strength of the Snow Girl. The 23rd Boundary River. Yi Tian and Shui Nu came here, and then shuttled to an eternal realm, the realm of heavy mountains. Little junior brother, the temporary base of Futianzhou is in the Chongshan area. It seems that they moved here when you killed the Taishui controller. Now the news has just been detected, they should not have time to withdraw. Snow Maiden said, 4th senior sister, let's go in. Yi Tian said, Shui Nu and Yi Tian entered the realm of heavy mountains together. This realm does not restrict the entry of the eternal controller, and it has long been transformed by the Forever sect. Therefore, Yi Tian and Shui Nu were not subject to any restrictions and easily entered this eternal realm. As soon as he entered the Chongshan realm, Yi Tian immediately used his copying talent to cover the entire Chongshan realm. With his current strength, the scope of copying talent covers the entire eternal realm. Naturally it is not difficult for 953. In an instant, he locked onto the eternal controllers of the mountain realm. Found it, Yi Tian muttered, and Shui Nu's strength was much stronger than Yi Tian. Although she didn't have the talent to copy, she quickly locked the positions of the members of the Fortune sect. No, I was found. The members of Futian sect reacted one by one, and their expressions changed drastically. And the leader of Fortune sect and the 2 vice leaders also panicked. It stands to reason that this place is very hidden. How could it be discovered? It can only be said that Shui Envy's means are too powerful. When Shui Envy freezes the Hai controller, all the incarnations of the Hai controller will collapse, and Fortune religion at best thinks that the Hai controller has been killed. Forever religion knows about this matter, but it will only investigate whose hands the master of Hai died, and will not immediately evacuate this base. After all, in their opinion, it will not be exposed here. But they never imagined that someone would be able to extract the memory of the Hai controller, the 7-level controller, to lock their base location. Also, it was so fast that it didn't take much time at all. Therefore, it was too late for them to withdraw. At this moment, not all the members of Fortis are here, but many high-level officials are here. Once this place is destroyed, the Fortune religion is not far from being destroyed. In an instant, the leader and deputy leader of Futian sect sensed the existence of the Snow Maiden, and immediately felt extremely desperate. Snow Girl controller, it's over. Futian sect leader shivered all over. He is only the master of the 8 realms. Although there is a statue of Wanxiang, even if it is integrated with the statue of Wanxiang, he cannot defeat the master of the Snow Maiden. Maybe I can still escape, but the others, I don't care. The Futian leader immediately merged the Wanxiang statue. Boom! The breath of being infinitely close to the 9 realms level controller erupted from the head of the Futian sect. Immediately, he rushed out of the mountain boundary at the fastest speed. Master of Spring Mountain, where are you going? Snow Maiden's voice reached the ears of the head of the Futian sect. The next moment, a pure white jade hand came across time and space. Shui Nu, give me a way to live. The Futian master roared. I saw countless black rays of light burst out from his whole body. These black rays of light formed a dense enchantment, but they shattered under the blow of Snow Maiden's pure white jade hand. And the body of the Quanshan controller was also cracked inch by inch and flew out. Yes, your Wanxiang statue focuses on defense. It can actually block my blow. However, I just hit it casually. Shui Nu said. The controller of Quanshan panicked. He was really scared. He doesn't want to die. He also wants to become the controller of the 9 realms, the controller of the 10 realms, and even a great existence like the primitive old ancestor and the 10 elements ancestor. However, he has no backers. If he had a backer, he wouldn't be able to practice the heaven-seizing technique. Boom! Another blow from the Snow Maiden struck. This time, Snow Maiden was serious. She directly used the top source control technique, the Void Ice Spear. Puff! The body of the Master of Quanshan was directly pierced by the Ice Spear of Nothingness, and his body was constantly frozen and annihilated. If there were no statues of Wanxiang, he would have been killed in an instant. But even so, under the blow of the Void Ice Spear, he was almost dying. Frozen. The controller of Quanshan was also frozen and completely unable to resist. On the other hand, Yi Tian prevented Futian from teaching him to leave. At this time, Snow Maiden resolved the battle, and in an instant, all the members of the Futian sect were frozen, and even the 2 7 realms level controllers were frozen in an instant. Immediately, the frozen crystals shattered, and all these eternal masters turned into dust and died on the spot. After killing these Futian sect members, the treasures on their bodies and the things in this temporary base were all found by Shui Nu and Yi Tian. Next is the distribution of treasures. The Wanxiang statue is of little use to me, give it to you. Shui Nu directly gave the Wanxiang statue to Yi Tian. Thank you, 4th senior sister. Yi Tian is very happy, this treasure is very helpful to him. Seeing that Yi Tian was so excited, Shui Nv said, it's just one myriad statue. If you collect 9 different myriad statues, it will be of great use, and a myriad statue is not too helpful to the 8 realms level controller. Great, it has no effect on the increase of the 9 realms level controller. 4th senior sister, why is it so useful to collect all 9 statues of Wanxiang? Yi Tian asked. Shui Nu explained. You probably don't know the origin of the Wanxiang statue, it is not something of the black ancestor, but from a mysterious place. Once you gather 9 different Wanxiang statues, you can form an incomparable door. Terrible secret technique. For example, senior brother Heisho, he has assembled 9 statues of Wanxiang, which can increase his strength by 10% at the level of the 10 realm level controller. However, senior brother Heisho has gathered together, and the others but they didn't get it all together. Of course, Hei ancestor also gathered it at the beginning, but he was suppressed by the primitive ancestor, and all the treasures on his body were taken away. I see. Yi Tian understood. It seems that Snow Maiden has no interest in collecting the 9 statues of Wanxiang, so she doesn't care. And this treasure fell into Yi Tian's hands and became his second myriad statue. Subsequently, Shui Nu took several treasures, but did not tell Yi Tian, but their value should not be low, and they would be helpful to Shui Nu, otherwise Shui Nu would not take 5.8 away. After that, Snow Maiden took some things, so she didn't choose any more treasures. I'll give you the rest. Snow Maiden said. Thank you, 4th senior sister. Yi Tian thanks. Immediately, he took away all the remaining treasures, and was extremely excited, because this time the harvest was too great. By the way, there are still some fish that slipped through the net that are not here, so you need to kill them yourself. If you really can't find them, publish the list, and someone will naturally look for them. You don't even think about completely eradicating the heaven-seizing technique. What cannot be wiped out, even if the master makes a move, it cannot completely wipe out the heaven-seizing technique. This secret technique has spread too much, and even some 10 realms level controllers have the inheritance of heaven-seizing technique in their hands, but they have not practiced it. That's it. Snow Maiden reminded. 4th senior sister, I understand. Yi Tian replied. Chapter 1890 The Body of 9th Level Control. After Shui Nu left, Yi Tian cleaned up the mess and left here. Shui Nu gave him a lot of intelligence information, all of which were obtained from the master of Haihei. Among them, there were some hiding places for the members of the Fortune sect. After all, the master of Haihei was one of the vice sect masters, so he naturally knew a lot of information. However, there are a few members of the Fortune Church who do not know the information and are deeply hidden. In addition, these Fortis members are very careful. If they delay for a long time, if they can't contact the top officials of Fortis, they will inevitably find a new hiding place. We must kill these Futian members first, so we can't waste time. Yi Tian immediately went to the hideout of one of the Fortune members. The Sea of Origin, Huaheizong. This is a small force, the strongest only has half-step eternal control, so this force is very insignificant, and it can only be limited to a small area, and even the outside world does not know how big it is. At this time, the 8th Ghost Controller, the second-level controller of Futian Sect, was hiding here 29, and he secretly controlled the half-step eternal controller of Huaheizong, so it was very safe and hidden to stay here. As long as he doesn't leak his breath, no one can find him. Suddenly, time and space froze, and the 8th Ghost Controller found himself imprisoned, unable to move. Obviously, an eternal controller whose strength far surpassed him came here and imprisoned him. He had already guessed the origin of this man. How is it possible? Who leaked my information? He didn't have the chance to think too much, so he was beaten to annihilation by Yi Tian in the next instant. At the moment when the 8th Ghost Controller fell, the half-step eternal controller of Huaheizong regained his consciousness, and only then did he realize that he had been controlled by others for all these years. The Eternal Master is dead. The half-step eternal controller of Huaheizong came to the residence of the 8th Ghost Controller, and found that he had turned into ashes, leaving only a little residue, knowing that he was obliterated by a terrifying existence. Although the other party did not intend to kill him, he also indirectly saved him. Thank you, Senior, for saving your life. Huaheizong's half-step eternal controller thanked him. However, Yi Tian had already left, and he didn't have time to stay here. As time passed, a member of the Futian sect was found by Yi Tian and then easily obliterated. But in the end, there were still 5 Fortune members who disappeared and could no longer be found. These were also the only 5 members of the Fortune Church left. Yi Tian didn't continue to hunt them down, unless they bumped into one day. Subsequently, Yi Tian publicized the information of the 5 members of the Futian sect, but the 5 of them did not dare to refute, and because he announced it, many forces recognized this information. The Source World Sea, the deserted Holy Island. Yi Tian came here. This place was originally the residence of the Master of the 8 Realms, the Master of Spring Mountain. It can be said that the cultivation environment here is quite good, and there are many resources born here. It is one of the rare treasures. Now that the controller of Spring Mountain has fallen, and his Tongyang Mountain has been destroyed, he intends to occupy this place as one of his cultivation places. At this time, there are many cultivators in the desolate Holy Island. After Yi Tian came, he directly announced that the controller of Spring Mountain had fallen, and immediately occupied the place with strong strength, and no one dared to refute. Afterwards, Yi Tian took control of the magic circle here, and rearranged quite a few magic circles, completely controlling the place. Next, Yi Tian took out the Tongyang Pagoda and placed it here. When Tongyang Keeling saw that he had changed to a new environment, he could not help asking, "Master, where is this place?" 1. Desolate Island. Yi Tian said lightly. What? The deserted Holy Island? This is the place where the 8 Realms level controller, the Quanshan controller, is in charge. How did we come here? Tongyang Keeling panicked. The master of Quanshan has been killed by my senior sister, and this place is occupied by me, so you can stay here from now on. Yi Tian said. Master is awesome, Tongyang Keeling exclaimed. After Yi Tian lived on the desolate Holy Island, he practiced here, and there are many time and space of practice here, and Yi Tian didn't need to worry about it himself, he completely picked up the ready-made ones. It didn't take long for the news of the fall of the members of the Futian sect, such as the controller of Quanshan, to spread. And many Eternal Masters also want to snatch the deserted Holy Island, but after learning that Yi Tian is here, one by one is persuaded and dare not snatch it. After all, Yi Tian can burst out the combat power of a 7-realm level controller, even an 8-realm level controller would not dare to offend the direct disciple of the 10 Elements ancestor. In this way, this matter gradually passed. Finally refining this Wanxiang statue. Yi Tian muttered, this Wanxiang statue is a little different from the previous Wanxiang statue. Although most of them are the same, this Wanxiang statue focuses on defense, which can enhance Yi Tian's defense ability, and of course increase other aspects, but it does not just a lot more defense. However, if 2 myriad statues are activated at the same time, the burden on the body is even greater, but the power of the booster is only increased by 30%, which is not as much as imagined. It seems that the strength gap is not too big to activate 2 Wanxiang statues and 1 Wanxiang statue. If 3 Wanxiang statues are obtained, the general eternal controller will not dare to activate them, otherwise the physical body will collapse directly. Break it, Yi Tian thought to himself. It was because he swallowed the black silence sea and the swallowing mountain, and the level of vitality was extremely high, so he dared to activate 2 Wanxiang 953 statues at the same time. Although the second Wanxiang statue has only increased my strength by 30%, it has also increased my strength a lot. Moreover, with the second Wanxiang statue, at least the changes in enlightenment can be accelerated a lot. 1. Yi Tian thought to himself. Afterwards, he continued to practice. This time, he could obtain a lot of resources from Futian sect, among which there were many resources that could improve the body and control. Maybe Shui Enbi didn't like it, but it was of great help to him. If all these resources are used, his body of control can definitely be raised to the level of 9th level control of the Z area. At that time, even without the help of the Wanxiang statue, his strength will be infinitely close to that of a 7-realm level controller. Time passed slowly, and before you knew it, the years of the million world rivers passed by. On this day, Yi Tian finally broke the shackles after refining a pound of blood origin desolate divine liquid, rising from the body of an 8th level controller to a 9th level controller. Boom! Yi Tian's physical quality has been terrifyingly improved, his body has become incomparably powerful, and his strength has naturally skyrocketed. At this time, his will has reached the peak of the 9th order, and his body of control has reached the 9th order. It can be said that he has almost reached the acme of these two aspects. He only needs to create another top-level source control skill before his strength can truly reach the 7th level. In the realm of the world-level controller, only with the help of 2 Wanxiang statues will it be enough to compete with the 8th-level controller. Chapter 1891 Wanxiang Linlong, the first life on the special life list. Next, let's try our best to comprehend one kind of Tao, and strive to master hundreds of millions of changes. Yi Tian decided. In the years that followed, Yi Tian devoted himself to comprehending the changes in the way of space. With the assistance of 2 omniscient statues, and the secret of comprehension, the effect of his comprehension was not low. However, he has already mastered tens of millions of changes in the way of space, and it is naturally very difficult to continue to master more changes. But Yi Tian at least hoped to master it, but it took a long time. In the following days, Yi Tian continued to comprehend and practice. As time passed, several members of the Fortian sect never appeared again. Obviously, in the extremely long years, they were afraid that they would disappear completely and would not appear again. Yi Tian didn't care about this matter, and gradually immersed himself in cultivation. After 300 million boundary years. After such a long time, Yi Tian finally made great progress on the changes in the way of space. At this moment, Yi Tian has already controlled hundreds of millions of changes in the way of space. It's too difficult, Yi Tian said with emotion. With his aptitude and comprehension, it takes 300 million years and years to master the hundreds of millions of changes in one Tao. If he wants to master hundreds of millions of changes in thousands of Tao, even if he uses the years as a unit of time, that is still the same, an astronomical figure. One can imagine how difficult it is for those eternal controllers with decent talent to make progress, and there may even be no progress in the past billion years. Therefore, many eternal masters will not care about the inheritance of the heaven-seizing technique and madly cultivate the heaven-seizing technique. Next, try to create a top-level source control technique. Just improve and perfect it on the basis of those few source control techniques, and create a top-level source control technique. It will take less time, Yi Tian thought to himself. Yi Tian did his best to transform and perfect the source control technique of air shock, and did his best to perfect and transform it. Now, Yi Tian has mastered the changes of hundreds of millions of ways of space, and gradually discovered that the changes in the source control skill of air shock are a little less, and some places are not very good. That is to say, with a high vision, many problems can be seen at a glance. Thanks to Yi Tian's continuous efforts, the air shock has been continuously improved. In the blink of an eye, 10 million years of the world river have passed. Finally, on this day, Yi Tian perfected the air shock to the level of top-level source control skills. At the moment when the air shock was perfected successfully, Yi Tian felt that the shackles in the dark had been shattered by himself, and his own breath had undergone tremendous changes. 7 realms level controller. Yi Tian smiled very happily. After such a long period of cultivation, he has finally reached the level of the 7 realms master. If he activates the statue of Wanxiang, it will be comparable to the combat power of the 8 realms master. In the source boundary river, it can be regarded as a real high-end combat power. At this moment, Yi Tian found that he had been moved to Wanyuan Mountain. When he looked again, he found that the master was in front of him. Obviously, he was moved here by the master. He moved his position silently, worthy of being a master, much stronger than him. Meet the master, Yi Tian said respectfully. Teacher, you have already broken through to the 7th realm level controller, so I am ready to give you a great opportunity for the master. Shi Xingzu said. It's not just you, when your brothers and sisters broke through to the 7th realm level controller. When I was a teacher, I also gave great opportunities to my teacher. Master, why did you give a great opportunity to break through to be the master of the 7 realms? Yi Tian was a little curious and asked. Shi Xingzu explained. Because even the masters of the 7 realms can't be promoted through their own efforts, there is no value in training. Although the teacher said it is very realistic, but this is the truth. Of course, a few teachers who are teachers naturally, it is impossible for direct disciples to be bad, and it is not difficult for you to be a master of the 7 realms. Yi Tian also agrees with this statement, and being accepted as a direct disciple by Xixing ancestor is naturally not bad, and will definitely not be stopped by the threshold of a 7 realm level controller. At this time, he was looking forward to what kind of opportunities the master would give him. However, the opportunity bestowed by master is definitely not small. At this time, Xixing ancestor took out a sealing ball with a creature sealed inside. This creature has countless scales, and each scale has a different breath and color. And when Yi Tian saw this creature, he seemed to see something terrifying, and his whole body trembled. Master, what kind of creature is this? Yi Tian asked. He felt that the Black Sea and the Mountain of Devouring were inferior to this creature. Could it be the mysterious life ranked first among those special beings? It is called Wanxiang Linlong. It is comparable to a 7 realm level controller when it is born. When it is an adult, it is comparable to a 10 realm level controller, and its life level is extremely high. At the same level, at least 10 strong people can be killed. This is a juvenile myriad dragon, you can swallow it and turn it into your own heritage, and you can even use it to directly condense the body of primitive level control. 10 ancestral ways. Thank you, Master, Yi Tian said gratefully. He is very clear that the Wanxiang Linlong must be very rare, and even if he encounters it, he will not be able to catch it. The Wanxiang Linlong who just happened to be in a young state must be very rare, and there will be elders to protect him. If he dares to capture a Wanxiang Linlong, it is courting death. Just as Yi Tian took over the sealed ball, his will perception entered the sealed ball, and he suddenly felt a familiar aura. Master, why does the breath of Wanxiang Linlong resemble the statue of Wanxiang? Yi Tian asked. The Ten Xing ancestor said. Because the statue of Wanxiang is actually the Lin of the anti-dragon of the Wanxiang Linlong, and strictly speaking, it is the Lin of the anti-dragon after it has faded. One Wanxiang Linlong will only fade away 9 of the Lin of anti-dragon, and each anti-dragon Lin is different. Therefore, once the 9 Wanxiang statues are collected, a statue of the Wanxiang Lin and dragon can be formed, which will be integrated into the body, and one's own strength will skyrocket. So it is. Yi Tian understood. At first he thought that the statue of Wanxiang was made by Haitsu, but later Nuo Lihao thought that it was not made by Haitsu, but he also thought that it was made by a great being who surpassed the master of 10 realms. Only now did I know that it turned out to be the inverse dragon of the Wanxiang Linlong. Master, at least the 10 realm level master level myriad phase Lin dragon will be able to fade away from the rebel dragon Lin, right? Yi Tian asked. That's true. Xixing ancestor nodded. Actually, the Wanxiang Linlong that can fade 9 times against the dragon is still very rare, and it is rumored that once the Wanxiang Linlong can fade 10 times against the dragon's Lin, it will break the restrictions of the 10 world level controllers and be promoted to the level like me. And the primitive ancestor has a 10,000 phase Linlong mount, he seems to have been researching this, I don't know if it is successful. Master, what abilities does Wanxiang Linlong have? 1. Yi Tian was quite curious. After you swallow it, you will know. 10 ancestral ways. Afterwards, Yi Tian withdrew, and directly began to devour and refine this myriad phase Linlong in Wanyuan Mountain. Chapter 1892 The Body of Primitive Control, The Affinity of Tao. This myriad phase Linlong was sealed by the 10 elements ancestor, and the power in his body couldn't exert much at all, so Yi Tian could easily subdue this myriad phase Linlong. I saw that Yi Tian grabbed this Wanxiang Linlong from the sealing ball, its huge body filled the void, and the terrifying pressure still made Yi Tian tremble with fear. If it wasn't for the power of the opponent being sealed, Yi Tian would not be able to subdue him even if he was a young Wanxiang Linlong. As expected of a special life that is comparable to a 7-level controller from the moment of birth, I have practiced for so many years, but it is only comparable to the one that was just born. Yi Tian said with emotion. However, although this kind of special life is very powerful, it also has big flaws, that is, its low intelligence. It only relies on blood, flesh and its own ability to have such strength, of great existence. Therefore, no strong person will accept Wanxiang Linlong as a disciple, and they can only be reduced to mounts or research materials, which is their ultimate destiny. Yi Tian grabbed the Wanxiang Linlong, and immediately began to devour the Wanxiang Linlong. Life-swallowing art is really similar to life-killing art, both can devour life, but what he obtains is the ability of the other party and the enhancement of physical body and life. The death-killing technique consumes one's own 953 life at the cost of taking the opponent's perception on the Tao. The life-killing technique seems to have no limit, but the side effects are too great, while Yi Tian's life-swallowing technique can only be performed 3 times, but it does not have any side effects, only benefits. If there are side effects, Shixing ancestor will not let him practice. Of course, it is also because the life-swallowing technique only allows one person to practice and cannot spread, so it will not cause bad influence. Boom! Under the life-swallowing technique, Wanxiang Linlong resisted wildly, but to no avail, it was gradually swallowed into Yi Tian's body by the life-swallowing technique, and then slowly refined by Yi Tian. Because the life and ability of Wanxiang Linlong is too powerful, it takes too long to devour Wanxiang Linlong. After devouring 8 million years of world rivers, Yi Tian finally devoured Wanxiang Linlong. At the moment of completely swallowing and refining, Yi Tian's body of control changed. Originally, the 9th level control body was already the limit of the body controlled by the Eternal Masters, but at this moment, after devouring the myriad phase Linlong, Yi Tian's control body abruptly broke this limit. At this moment CJFI, the body under Yi Tian's control broke the limit, the physical strength continued to skyrocket, and the physical quality was transformed at an incredible speed. 3 times, 5 times, 10 times, 20 times. In the end, Yi Tian's body became 30 times stronger, and this transformation ended. Finally raise the body of control to the primitive level. Yi Tian said excitedly. Having a body controlled by the primitive level, Yi Tian is not just as powerful as the body, but the body controlled by the primitive level has a primitive golden light. This kind of primitive golden light can make the body indestructible and defense invincible. Unless the original golden light is exhausted, even an existence that is hundreds of times stronger than himself cannot kill himself. It can be said that any eternal controller who has mastered the body of primitive level control, its life-saving ability is extremely terrifying, and it is difficult to kill. It is like the controller of Spring Mountain of Futian sect. Although he is the controller of the 8th realm, his body is still only at the 9th level, and he has not mastered the body of primitive level, so there is no primitive golden light. If he had the original golden light, Shui Nu would have to work hard to kill him. Yi Tian immediately tested the original golden light to see if this ability was really as powerful as the rumors. A pale golden light was attached to Yi Tian's body, which looked very inconspicuous. But Yi Tian used his top source control technique, air shock, on his body. Boom! Kong Zhen hit him directly and was stopped by the original golden light. A fierce collision occurred, but Yi Tian did not feel any harm. The terrifying primordial golden light can easily block the top source control skills. However, in order to block this blow, the primordial golden light consumes a full 1%. Yi Tian secretly said. Through a series of tests, Yi Tian had a sufficient understanding of the original golden light. It can be said that with the original golden light, Yi Tian's strength has skyrocketed a lot. This time, Yi Tian not only raised the body of control to the primitive level, he also strengthened his life level, and inherited some abilities of Wanxiang Linlong. Affinity of Tao. This is an ability belonging to the Wanxiang Linlong, not a talent. The dragon scales of the Wanxiang Linlong are naturally in line with the changes of the Tao, so the Wanxiang statue transformed by the anti-dragon Lin will make people feel the changes of the Tao. That is to say, after possessing the affinity of Tao, Yi Tian realized the change of Tao, hundreds of times or even thousands of times easier. This is equivalent to indirectly changing Yi-Tian's aptitude. This alone is enough to fundamentally change Yi-Tian's fate. In the future, it will be less difficult to master hundreds of millions of Taoist changes, and it will take very little time. Yi-Tian thought to himself. Not only the ability of the affinity of Tao, Yi-Tian also inherited the breath of Wanxiang Linlong. Wanxiang breathing is also an ability. Wanxiang Linlong only needs to breathe, and can draw endless energy to temper his body and improve his strength. Although Yi-Tian's body has reached the primordial level, he can still slowly improve it to reach the ultimate level of primordial level, so this ability can also continue to improve his strength, and even break the limitations of the physical body, and only rely on the physical body to reach 8th realm level is even the level of the 9 realm level controller. This is also what every Wanxiang Linlong can do, and Yi-Tian also has the hope of doing it. Of course, it will take a long time, so it can only be regarded as a surprise, not a trump card. For Yi-Tian, the biggest opportunity this time was to obtain the affinity of Tao in the body of primitive control, and the others were incidental benefits. At this time, Yi-Tian's strength is still at the level of a 7-level controller, but it is infinitely close to an 8-level controller. As long as Yi-Tian continues to create a few top-level source control skills, his strength will be able to break through the shackles and break through to the level of the 8 realms level controller. Next, I will work hard to participate in the changes. With my current affinity, I will master the changes of the Tao of Time, Tao of Fire, Tao of Defense, Tao of Thunder, etc. to hundreds of millions, and it will not take long. Yi-Tian thought to himself. Chapter 1893 Copy the female controller and #039's body. With the help of Tao's affinity, Yi-Tian continued to comprehend the myriad statues and made great progress in mastering the changes of Tao. In a short period of time, he mastered one change after another. After only spending tens of thousands of years, Yi-Tian successfully mastered hundreds of millions of changes in the way of time. Then, Yi-Tian continued to comprehend the various changes of other Taos, and was not in a hurry to create top-notch origin control techniques. Before you know it, another million years have passed. At this time, Yi-Tian has mastered the way of fire, the way of defense, the way of thunder and other ways of hundreds of millions of changes. If Yi-Tian wanted to master the Tao of so many hundreds of millions of changes before he devoured the Wanxiang Linlong, the time it took was astronomical, but now it only took a few million years. It's time to create top-notch source control skills. Yi-Tian decided. Therefore, he decided to perfect the source control skills he created before to the level of the top source control skills. For him, it is not difficult to achieve this step. In this way, the years passed, and Yi-Tian soon perfected the flame explosion to the level of top-level source control technique. Afterwards, all the origin control skills, such as Tian Yushin, Thunder Body 9 Flashes, and Space-Time Splitting Blade, all became top-level origin palm controlling techniques. When these top source controllers were created, Yi-Tian's own strength naturally increased greatly, breaking the boundaries and stepping into the level of the 8 realms level controllers. Finally breaking through, reaching the level of an 8-realm level controller, plus 2 myriad statues, my current strength is among the top ranks of the 8-realm level controllers. Yi-Tian thought to himself. If the Master of Spring Mountain is still alive, he and the Master of Spring Mountain are not necessarily weaker than the disadvantage. Moreover, he still has the original golden light, and the ability to save his life is very strong. In the days that followed, Yi-Tian continued to refine his body of control, created top-notch source control skills, and realized the many changes in a doorway, and slowly accumulated strength through this method. Although the progress is slow, the strength is still improving a little bit, and it will gradually progress to the extreme of the 8th world level controller, and even enter the level of the 9 world level controller. If he can comprehend the metamorphosis of the will, his strength can definitely easily step into the 9 realms level controller. At that time, he will be at the same level of combat power as the senior brother and 4th senior sister. However, it is difficult for the will to reach the state of transformation. He not only went to ask Master and several senior brothers and sisters for advice once, but everyone has a different way of breaking through. For example, senior brother Ancient Demon, his will to reach the state of transformation is through a battle that is about to die. He understands the state of transformation at the moment of death, and thus kills his opponent. But the big brother Zhang Yu was simple, he practiced silently, and one day he suddenly reached the state of transformation. The 4th sister, Shui Nu, accidentally swallowed a certain mysterious fruit, causing a transformation of her will, thus reaching the state of transformation. Everyone's breakthrough method is different, and the realm of transformation is essentially the ninth order peak. It is just a special state that extends, and there is no complete cultivation system yet. Even the 10 Qing ancestors and the others are still groping, so they cannot give a definite hint of the cultivation path, and they can only rely on themselves. Senior brother Ji Yumo relies on fighting to break through. There are too many uncertain factors to simulate. Senior brother relies on silent ascetic cultivation. It is said that senior brother has practiced for a long time, second only to master, with infinitely long time. Time to make breakthroughs is also not suitable for me. As for the fourth senior sister Shui Nv, that is good luck. But the third senior brother Haixi, the breakthrough method seems to be a trick, although he did not say it, it is definitely not suitable for me. Master also said that if I want to break through in will, he can't help me, and I must rely on myself to find a path that suits my breakthrough. Yi Tian secretly said, and which path is right for you? Yi Tian pondered for a long time and felt that he had to rely on copying his talent. The realm of will formation still belongs to the ninth order peak realm. If he copies the body of an 8th realm controller, and the other party happens to condense the will formation realm. In this way, wouldn't he be able to use the opponent's body to comprehend the state of volitionalization? After realizing it time and time again, he may be able to gain insight into the mystery of the volitional form, so that his own body can enter the volitional form. This approach seems to work. Yi Tian thought to himself. So, he began to inquire about which 8 realms level controller mastered the realm of will formation, and although this information was secret, it was not impossible to inquire. Finally one day, Yi Tian inquired about the 4th direct disciple of the primitive ancestor, Qing Sei controller. She is an 8 realm level controller who controls the realm of will formation and meets Yi Tian's standards. As for the other controllers who have mastered the realm of volitional transformation, they are all above the level of the 9 realms controller, and Yi Tian can't copy their bodies. Begging for flowers, woman, it's a little embarrassing. Yi Tian frowned. He hasn't copied a woman's body yet, but in order to break through, let's copy it. The controller of Qing's is the controller of the 8 realms, so Yi Tian will not spy on her past time and space, and will be perceived by her. So, Yi Tian came directly to the Phoenix Giant City where Qing Sei's controller was located. She was born here, so she usually cultivated here. This day, Yi Tian came to the Phoenix Giant City and visited the master of Qing's by the way. The Qing Sei controller did not know Yi Tian's purpose. She thought Yi Tian was really coming to visit her, but did not know that Yi Tian was trying to spy on her body. If she knew, she would have thought of killing Yi Tian. Endless controller, please take a seat. The Qing's controller greeted Yi Tian very politely and invited Yi Tian to be a guest in his mansion. At this time, Qing Sei's controller was also a little surprised. She had heard of Yi Tian, but she didn't expect Yi Tian to practice so fast, and now he is the master of the 8 realms. Moreover, she felt the aura of the primitive level control body from Yi Tian. Master Qing's, I'm here to visit and ask for advice. Yi Tianji said. Immediately, he said that he wanted to ask him how to make his will break through to the metamorphosis realm. The master of Qing's mastered the will transformation realm at the 8th level controller level, so he was very proud, and also thought that Yi Tian really came to ask for advice, because she was really famous in the will transformation realm. Soon, the master of Qing's shared many of his experiences, but in fact it didn't help much. Yi Tian stayed here for a long time before leaving. In this way, he will not arouse the suspicion of Qing's controller. After going back, Yi Tian copied the Qing's controller's body again in the void area. Time passed slowly, and the body of Qing's controller was completely condensed. If other eternal masters come here, they will definitely think that this is the real master of Qing's. Wanyuan Mountain, Xixing ancestor sensed Yi Tian's behavior for the first time, and couldn't help but smile. My disciple is really courageous. If the old man knew about it, I would have to beat him violently. Immediately, the 10 elements ancestor blocked the traces of time and space, and even the primitive ancestors could not perceive the situation in the void area at this moment. Chapter 1894 Master the Willing Form. Void area. It's copied, it's time to practice. Yi Tian is comprehending the change of will with the body of Qing's controller. Although he was very unfamiliar with this body, he soon realized the difference of this body will. The controller of Qing's has already mastered the will formation of the 9th order peak, and this body is naturally the same, but he is not familiar with the will formation, so he cannot exert the power of the will formation. That is to say, his body has the realm of volitionalization, but it can't show it. Yi Tian doesn't need to exert the power of volitional transformation, he just needs to silently realize it. Time passed slowly. Yi Tian kept trying to change his will. At this moment, he clearly felt that the will of Ching Sei's controller was constantly changing, and he was in a state of change all the time. 953 was like Tao. This kind of change is unclear, and there seems to be no regularity. No wonder whether it is the master, or the brothers and sisters, they can't say how to break through, and the transformation of will is unclear. In essence, the will of the master of Qing's is also the peak of the ninth order realm, and even the quality and total amount are the same. But there are many changes of will, but the changes of will seem to have no regularity, and they are not as comprehensible as Tao. The changes of Tao are densely covered in the void of the source realm, which can be comprehended, but the will cannot be comprehended in this way. Understood? Yi Tian secretly said, certainly. He now uses the body of the master of Qing's to understand the change of the will of the metamorphosis. Even if he can't find the reason for the change of the will, but after a long time, he can make the will change by himself, thus breaking the shackles and being promoted to the will of metamorphosis. In this way, one boundary year after another has passed. In the blink of an eye, 30 million years have passed. After such a long period of ascetic cultivation, Yi Tian has learned a lot about the realm of volitional transformation. This day, Yi Tian annihilated the cloned body of Qing's controller, recondensed his own body, and then used his cloned body to start a breakthrough. Yi Tian's will is constantly changing under his control. Time passed slowly, and the speed of change was getting faster and faster, but because Yi Tian's own will was different from that of Qing's controller, his will kept collapsing at the beginning. But fortunately, Yi Tian gradually grasped the subtleties of the changes and found the right direction in the dark. This day, Yi Tian finally made the change of will reach a certain critical point, triggering the final qualitative change. Boom! The will began to change by itself. Although the will is still at the peak of the ninth order realm, his perception of the outside world and the degree and power of his use of the will have undergone incredible transformation. Moreover, he can do willization. It can be turned into a weapon, it can be turned into a clone, it can be turned into anything. And it is not a simple change, but it has truly become something, just as real as Yi Tian's copying talent. Of course, the most valuable thing is to become a will clone. After all, many eternal masters have a real body. If there is one more will clone, it will be too useful. The important thing is that the life-saving ability has been enhanced a lot. With a will clone, it is not easy to die. Of course, once the will clone is solidified, if it falls, it will not be able to condense another will clone for a long time. Now, Yi Tian thought about whether to condense one will clone. No, he can condense 2 will clones. If he condenses 2 will clones, his body will have as many as 4. Of course, 4 is a bit too much and is useless. It's enough to condense a will clone, and you can use the will to form a weapon. Yi Tian thought to himself. Through chatting with several brothers and sisters, he knew that the most powerful weapon in the Sea of Origins was the weapon of will formation. Some eternal masters who have condensed the will of the form will not condense the avatar of the will, but will condense the weapon of the will. The weapon of the will can transform into the most powerful weapons, which can improve their strength a lot. After thinking about it, Yi Tian decided to condense a blade that can match the top source control technique, the space-time cracking blade. Cohesion. The willpower of the metamorphosis realm of the ninth order peak began to condense, and under the control of Yi Tian, it gradually turned into a blade. This blade seems to be an extension of Yi Tian's body, and it contains a power comparable to that of a master of the 8 realms. Using this blade to match his own strength, Yi Tian's strength will skyrocket. In fact, after mastering the power of the will, Yi Tian's strength has reached the combat power of the top 8 world-level controller. If he uses the will blade and the 2 statues of Wanxiang, the strength he exerts is comparable to that of others. Weak 9 realms level controller. The 9 realm level controller is the realm of combat power of the Snow Maiden controller. And Yi Tian has also reached this state now. For some eternal masters with high talent and great potential, if there is a great opportunity, it is still very easy to achieve the 8 realms level controller. Or there are those who use the heaven-seizing technique to obtain shortcuts like the Spring Mountain controller, but it is very difficult to reach the 9 realms level controller. Just like Yi Tian, although it is now infinitely close to the 9 realms level controller, it seems to have reached the limit. Having mastered the volitional realm and the primitive level control body, he has also created many top-level source controllers, but he is still in the 8 realms level controllers. It seems that he has reached a bottleneck. Next, it seems that only by relying on countless years of hard work, quietly accumulating background, and using countless top source control skills to improve the physical body to the extreme, until the will can no longer be improved, it is possible to improve to the realm of the 9 realms level controller. Then, what about the 10 realm level controllers? So how to improve it? This day, Yi Tian came to 5.8 worshippers and taught this page. He had inquired about it before, but his strength was not up to par, so the Snow Maiden controller naturally told him not to be too ambitious. But now, he is qualified to ask. Soon, Yi Tian saw the Snow Maiden controller. And the moment the Snow Maiden controller saw Yi Tian, he was immediately stunned. Little junior brother, do you control the will turning state? The Snow Maiden controller was extremely surprised. It's just a fluke, Yi Tian said modestly. Snow Maiden praised again and again. Little junior brother, I have only admired 3 senior brothers in our lineage, and now there are more of you. You are improving your strength too fast. I am afraid that it will not take long before you can surpass me. My sister and I are far from each other, Yi Tian said quickly. Chapter 1895. The Jihei was opened up. Although Yi Tian doesn't know what the strength limit of senior sister Shui Nu is, he is definitely very close to the 10 realm level controller, and even if his combat power is full, he can only barely reach the 9 realms with the help of the 2 Wanxiang statues and the will blade. It is only the threshold of combat power for a level controller. Therefore, the Snow Maiden Master can easily defeat him. Little junior brother, I'm afraid you have something to do with me this time. Shui Nu asked. Yi Tian nodded. 4th senior sister, I have already condensed my will to transform my body has reached the primal level control body, I have mastered a lot of top source control skills, and my strength is getting closer and closer to the limit. Even if the cultivation is infinite. Years, relying on accumulation to step into the realm of the 9 realms level controller, it seems that there is no way to continue to improve. I want to ask 4th senior sister, how should I go? The Snow Maiden controller said. Little junior brother, you are qualified to know now. The reason why I didn't tell you, and Master didn't tell me, is because it is not good to know in advance, and it will even affect your future path. Among them, there are some 8 level controllers or 9 level controllers who have gone the wrong way, and there is no hope of being promoted to 10 level controllers, let alone surpassing the 10 level. If you are with some 9 level controllers, if you contact the level controller, you will find that they do not have the body of primitive level control, nor the will to form the realm, but their strength has reached the 9 world level controller. Do you think it really depends on the accumulation of countless years? There are still 9 world level controllers who have not mastered the will-shaped realm or the body of primitive level control. Yi Tian wondered. Naturally there are, the Snow Maiden controller said, and there are still quite a few. In fact, many eternal controllers know that they should not go the wrong way, but the rapid increase in strength will make them unable to control themselves. Many talented evildoers are not inferior. For my genius, it was scrapped like this. Although the other party has also reached the 9 realms level controller now, it is only the weakest 9 realm level controller. And there is no hope of becoming a 10th world class. And, you know one who has gone the wrong way. Who? Yi Tian was curious. Eldest brother, the Snow Girl controller said. Master did not expect that the elder brother went the wrong way. The talent of the elder brother is a little worse than ours, his strength is too slow to improve, and the master gets up early to give it to him. With too much help, he couldn't improve his strength quickly, and after knowing some secrets, he couldn't bear it any longer. Now, the senior brother has been trapped in the 9 realms level controller, and he will never be able to step into the 10th level controller level. As a result, you find that the senior brother has a salty attitude, and he begins to enjoy the fun and does not practice much. Of course, the senior brother has a good attitude and doesn't think too much. 4th senior sister, hurry up, I'm getting more and more curious. Yi Tian said. The Snow Girl controller stopped beating around the bush, and said directly, generally, when you reach the level of junior brother, you have condensed the will and the body of primitive control, and created a lot of top source control skills. It seems that you have reached the limit. This at times, there are only 2 ways to continue to rapidly improve our strength. The first way is to take the path of self-creation. This point should be familiar to junior and senior teachers. In our past practice, we don't know how many ways we have created, but there are many ways. They are all trails, with limited potential, and they will be abandoned later. Creating the Tao doesn't help us much, this is just the beginning. After creating the Tao, combine the changes of other Taos to keep changing the Tao and master hundreds of millions of changes. After that, you can hook up with the origin of the original Sea of Origin, and make your own Tao become a source of the original Sea of Origin. The Sea of Origin is now not only the source of 3,000 Tao, but many, many. Once this is achieved, the Eternal the Master can use the source energy of the Source World Sea to temper the body at all times. At this time, a black hole appeared behind Shui Nu, and countless source energy poured into her body. This is the origin of the Source World Sea. Although I can extract very few origins, the victory is lasting and can make the body stronger and stronger. But if you don't have a primitive control body, don't do this, otherwise there will be almost no way to form a primitive control body in the future. Shui Nu said. Yi Tian nodded, but he didn't need to worry, because he had already condensed the body of primitive level control. Then, the Snow Maiden controller said the second path. The second path will improve the most, that is to open up a boundary river, but without the ultimate controller strength of the 9 realms, don't try to do this. With a boundary river, the power of a boundary river can be accommodated, breaking the limit, not only the limit of the physical body, but also the limit of the power of control, and can even make the will soar. Like although you have reached the state of will, but reaching this after the realm, the power of will can still continue to improve, but it is difficult to achieve, and when the boundary river is opened, it can break this limit and reach the true extreme of the will of the metamorphosis. Fourth senior sister, are you saying that Jihei was created? Yi Tian was shocked. He always thought that Jihei was born naturally, but now he told him that Jihei was actually created. Yes, it's all opened up. The Snow Maiden controller responded. Yi Tian added. Fourth senior sister, there are a total of 88 boundary rivers, doesn't it mean that there are a total of 88 9 realms extreme controllers to attack 10 realms level controllers, then there are 88 10 realms level controllers. Bye. That's true, but more than 953 have fallen. Snow Maiden said. Based on my information, there are only 49 10 realm level controllers still alive. Fourth senior sister, who created the No. 13 Jihei where I am? Yi Tian asked. Shui Nu pondered for a while, and said, the 13th World River. I think about it, it seems that the controller of the Devil Prison was established, but this one has fallen. He once competed with the Master, but it is a pity that he offended another great existence, was killed. 1. So, senior sister is also going to open up a boundary river. 1. Yi Tian asked curiously. Shui Nu smiled and said, you are asking about my strength, but it's okay to tell you, it won't be long before I will open up the boundary river. If it is successful, I will be the master of the 10 realms. But if it fails, there will never be a way to enter the 10th realm level. There is only one chance to open up the boundary river. But once the boundary river is opened, the strength will increase by leaps and bounds in a short period of time. It will be a complete failure. Many eternal masters have not made progress for countless years, they can't hold back, and they want to try their luck. Although there are particles of success, 99% of them fail. Fourth senior sister, I understand. Yi Tian nodded. Chapter 1896 The headquarters of the Jihei Chamber of Commerce. Knowing these two paths of improvement, Yi Tian is no longer confused about the future. Of course, he is not in a hurry to go either way. He still has room for improvement now. After there is no room for improvement, he will take the change of the self-created path, let the self-created path reach hundreds of millions of changes, and let his own Tao become the source of the Tao in the Sea of Origin. Afterwards, Yi Tian said goodbye to Shui Nu, returned to his residence, and continued to practice. Time flies. Relying on the affinity of the Tao, Yi Tian has mastered more and more changes in the Tao, and from time to time, he creates a top-notch source control technique. In this way, Yi Tian slowly accumulated strength. His strength has gradually increased from the level of the 8 realms level controller, and he is progressing step by step towards the 9 realms level controller. After a long time, Yi Tian has mastered more than 100 million kinds of changes in many ways, and the background is already very strong. At this time, he can choose to take his own path of change. The way I created is the endless way. Now I can continue to follow this way, combining the way of time, the way of space, and many other ways to create a brand new endless way, and then feel the changes of the endless way. Yi Tian muttered. However, even if he wants to take the path of endless change, to completely perfect the endless path, and to master the hundreds of millions of changes in the endless path, it is still very difficult, and it will take countless years. Therefore, for a long time in the future, Yi Tian's strength will not be able to improve rapidly. Of course, if he has the opportunity to obtain more Wanxiang statues, he can continue to improve his strength. He devoured the young Wanxiang Linlong. If he had the physique of Wanxiang Linlong, if he obtained more Wanxiang statues, he could easily motivate him, which would greatly improve his strength. If you get 9 different statues, you can also form a terrifying secret technique, so that your strength soars. The so-called secret technique is also a special powerful secret technique belonging to Wanxiang Linlong. Now he already knows that the Wanxiang Linlong family has 9 inheritance secret techniques, each of which can make the strength skyrocket. And if you get 9 Wanxiang statues and combine one, you can get one of them at random, which greatly improves your strength. This is also one of the reasons for the high value of the 9 Wanxiang statues. But a single Wanxiang statue would be of average value, unable to attract 9 realms level controllers and 10 realms level controllers. Therefore, Yi Tian is also inquiring about the whereabouts of the Wanxiang statue. Time passed, and after a long time, Yi Tian really found out the whereabouts of the Myriad Realms statue. Jiehe Chamber of Commerce is going to auction Wanxiang statue. Yi Tian said in surprise. This is not the first time Yi Tian has dealt with the Jiehe Chamber of Commerce. When he was in the 13th Jiehe, he went to the Jiehe Chamber of Commerce to buy items. The Jiehe Chamber of Commerce's influence spreads across 88 Jias, and it is the first great existence that opened up Jiehe in the source Ji, Jizu. Jia ancestor, Xixing ancestor, and primitive old ancestor are all at the same level, surpassing the 10 realm level controller, and Jiehe Chamber of Commerce is his industry. Of course, Jia Zhu doesn't manage the Jiehe Chamber of Commerce anymore, it's all Jia Zhu's eldest disciple Yuanmo old ancestor who manages the Jiehe Chamber of Commerce. At present, the Jiehe Chamber of Commerce has 2 10-level controllers, and there are dozens of 9-level controllers, and their strength is extremely terrifying, so no force dares not give Jiehe Chamber of Commerce face. Because of this, there are branches of the Jiehe Chamber of Commerce in the 88 Jiehe rivers. This time, the headquarters of the Jiehe Chamber of Commerce is holding an auction, and those who are qualified to participate in this auction are the controllers above the 7th realm level. In the source realm C, the controllers above the 7th realm level are all middle level, and only the 7th realm level and above are high level. The headquarters of the Jiehe Chamber of Commerce entertained all high-level controllers. In the past, Yi Tian was not qualified to receive the hospitality of the Jiehe Chamber of Commerce, but now his realm of the 8 realms level controller has been exposed, so he immediately received an invitation from the Jiehe Chamber of Commerce. This time, Yi Tian not only accepted the invitation of the Jiehe Chamber of Commerce, but also got a list of some auction items, one of which is the Wanxiang statue. The Wanxiang statue is very valuable to me, and I can participate in this auction. 1. Yi Tian decided. And the last time he and the 4th senior sister annihilated the Fortune sect, so the harvest was also very large. Now his net worth is not cheap, although he is not comparable to the 9 realms level controller, but not lower than the entire net worth of any 8 realm level controller. Therefore, if he bids for the Wanxiang statue, he can still easily get it. The auction is scheduled to be held 1 Jiehe year later, and 1 Jiehe year notice in advance is also to allow the eternal controllers enough time to prepare. In such auctions, barter is used. As for the currency like Jiehe coin, it has no meaning at all for the controllers above the 7th realm level. Usually, the Jiehe Chamber of Commerce cannot buy suitable resources for them, so it has no value. So, you can only take barter. Time passed, and soon a boundary year passed. This day, Yi Tian went to Jiehe City, the headquarters of the Jiehe Chamber of Commerce. Jiehe City is all affiliated to the Jiehe Chamber of Commerce, and countless strongmen of the Jiehe Chamber of Commerce live here. Yi Tian came to Jiehe City, the copying talent unfolded, and he sensed a large number of powerhouses. Almost all of them are eternal controllers above the 1st realm level, and there are many controllers above the 7th realm level, and their strength and aura are very strong. It is indeed the headquarters of the Jiehe Chamber of Commerce. Yi Tian commented secretly. Soon, all the eternal controllers above the 7th realm level came here. 4th senior sister. Yi Tian saw the Snow Maiden controller and walked over. 4th senior sister. Yi Tian shouted. The Snow Girl controller naturally noticed Yi Tian and nodded slightly. Little junior brother, you are here too. Afterwards, Nuo Li Hao Yi Tian chatted with the Snow Girl controller as they walked. From the mouth of the Snow Maiden controller, she learned that she is a treasure this time, and she wants to try it. When she reached the 9 realms level controller, there were very few treasures that attracted her. Now that I have encountered one, I will naturally come to compete for 1 or 2. Every eternal master invited here has a palace as a temporary residence, where they can rest for a while. Not long after, the auction was about to start, and one after another, the eternal controllers above the 7th realm level came to the Sunset Palace, where the auction was held at the Jiehe Chamber of Commerce headquarters. In the Sunset Palace, a large number of controllers above the 7th realm level gathered, which surprised Yi Tian. It is usually difficult to see an eternal controller above the 7th realm level, but now there are so many. It can be said that every eternal controller here can be regarded as an ancient legendary figure in the outside world. Chapter 1897 Blackwater Magic Crystal. Sunset Palace. Each of the eternal controllers above the 7 realms level has an independent space, and each independent space seems to stand in a time and space. The core of the convergence of many time and space is the location of the auction table, which is controlled by a 9-realm level at the headquarters of the Jihei Chamber of Commerce. The auctioneer acts as an auctioneer to auction items. Yi Tian has already stood in a space-time space in the periphery. After all, he is only the controller of the 8th realm level, and the real realm has not yet reached the controller of the 9-realm level, because he can only be in the outer space-time. As for the space near the inner space-time, only the controllers above the 9 realms level can stay there. Just from the spatial position, you can see the status. And Yi Tian quickly sensed an acquaintance. Ching Sei's controller, the time and space where the other party was located was not far from Yi Tian. Seeing the Qing's controller, Yi Tian felt a little embarrassed. He is too familiar with the master of Qing's, and of course he is familiar with the body. After all, he copied the body of the master of Qing's. But the controller of Qing's didn't know about this matter. If he knew, the controller of Qing's would definitely look for him desperately. The Endless Master. The controller of Qing's also sensed Yi Tian and said hello. And Yi Tian also responded. The controller of Qing's, we meet again. The two briefly chatted for a few words, and naturally they stopped talking. 953 At this time. There are still eternal controllers coming here, but none of the 10 realms level controllers who finally came here. At the very least, Yi Tian did not see a 10 realm level controller. It seems that the circle of 10 realms level controllers has become a higher level, and such an auction will still not attract 10 realms level controllers. Yi Tian secretly said. For now, the controllers from the 7 realms to the 9 realms belong to a circle, but the status of the 9 realms controllers is far superior to the 7 realms controllers, but the circle is still one. And the 10 realm level controller is above another circle. As long as the great existence does not make a move, the 10 realm level controller is an invincible existence. And Xixing ancestors belong to another circle. After a long time, almost all the people who came to participate have arrived. If they don't come at this time, they will basically not come. After all, the speed of the 7-level controller is so fast, no matter where he is, he will come. Not long after, the auction started. The one who presided over the auction this time was the Juji level controller Beiye controller of the Jihei Chamber of Commerce headquarters. Kitano controller took out the first auction item. The first auction item will be auctioned next, the Blood Sun Dragon Spirit Fruit, which can help the Eternal Controller to upgrade the body of the 8th level controller to the body of the 9th level controller. Its owner wants to enhance the treasure of willpower, suitable for Eternal Will in the late 9th order. Now the auction will start. Those who want to bid can make their own bids, and the owner of the Blood Sun Dragon Spirit Fruit will decide. Said Kitano controller. Blood Yang Dragon Spirit Fruit is indeed a good thing. Yi Tian muttered. At the beginning, he also spent a lot of energy trying to upgrade the 8th level control body to the 9th level control body, and he saw it casually here, but if he wanted to obtain such a treasure, he had to pay for the equivalent items. Otherwise people will not sell it. It is not a loss for the other party to exchange the treasure that enhances the will for the treasure that enhances the body of control. Of course, if no one is willing to trade, it will pass in. This kind of barter auction is naturally a very normal situation. Soon, a 7-level controller bid. I will give out a purple lightning source. The 7 realms level controller said. Purple Leiyuan is also a treasure that helps to improve willpower. If it is at the extreme end of the 9th order late stage, a purple thunder source can indeed help break the shackles and break through to the 9th order peak state. However, the value of Z Leiyuan was slightly inferior, not as good as the Blood Sun Dragon Spirit Fruit. After a while, another Eternal Master said, I will produce a purple thunder source and Passion Soul Grass. 1. Passion Soul Grass can also help improve the will of the 9th order late stage CJFI, but it is useless for the 9th order peak will. But if Z Leiyuan and Passion Soul Grass are added, the value is almost the same as Blood Yang Dragon Spirit Fruit. At this time, no one else made an offer. Congratulations to the controller of Shenhe for winning the Blood Sun Dragon Spirit Fruit with the Passion Soul Grass and a purple lightning source. The controller of Kitano said. Next, item by item was auctioned. The items that were auctioned at the beginning were only useful to the 7th realm level controllers, but they were of little value to the 8th realm level controllers. Finally, the treasures that are valuable to the 8 realms level controllers have been auctioned. The next auction item is the Black Water Magic Crystal. Presumably many Eternal Masters know its name. It comes from the depths of the world beyond the Boundary River, and it is an incomparably distant depth, far away from the Boundary River in its origin. The World Sea is in the Lost Area. The Black Water Magic Crystal is extremely rare, but its value is very high. It has a 1% chance of forcibly breaking the 9th level control body into the primitive level control body. The owner of the auction item wants a life source heart. As long as anyone has a life source heart, the transaction can be completed directly. If not, then there is a need for a treasure that heals the injuries of the 7 world level controllers, and the auction is now, said Kitano controller. At this time, many controllers were surprised that they exchanged the Black Water Magic Crystal for healing. It's such a waste to exchange good things for healing things. But the injury of the other party must be very serious, and it cannot be cured by itself, or else it will not change the healing thing. In the Sea of Origin realm, there are only a few of the 7 realm level controllers who need healing. It should be one of them. It's a pity that I don't have a source of life, otherwise I really have to bid for it. The Black Water Magic Crystal can make my body in control rise to a primitive control body, and my strength will skyrocket. Could it be that the other party suffered a fatal injury in order to capture the Black Water Magic Crystal? It should be possible. If you want to obtain the Black Water Magic Crystal, the price is not low, and the other party is likely to be injured because of it. Just as many Eternal Controllers were discussing, one Eternal Controller bid. This is someone Etn knows, the controller of Qing's. The accumulation of Qing's controller is enough, and she has also condensed the realm of will transformation, which is very close to the 9 realms level controller. If she obtains the Black Water Magic Crystal and condenses the body of primitive level control, there is really hope. Directly promoted to 9 realms level controller. Even if it cannot be promoted, its strength will reach the pinnacle of an 8 realm level controller. The controller of Qing's took out the source of life, and naturally he directly photographed the Black Water Magic Crystal. Chapter 1898 Change the Flesh Indestructible Technique for the Golden Lotus with 100 leaf leaves. Congratulations to the Master of Qing's. Yi Tian congratulated. Thank you, the Master of Qing's responded with a smile. Obtained the Black Water Magic Crystal, she is in a really good mood. Although her status is very high, and there is a master who surpasses the Master of 10 realms, it is difficult to obtain such things as Black Water Magic Crystals, and you have to rely on yourself. But now, she has finally obtained this treasure, which can raise the body of control to the primitive level, and her strength will definitely increase. Of course, as for whether she can directly advance to the 9 realms level controller, she is not sure. But as long as the body of primitive level control and the will of the metamorphosis are condensed, in the future, it will be possible to become the controller of the 9 realms level. Moreover, she has a solid foundation and hopes to become a 10 realm level controller. Unlike many 9 realms level controllers, who did not condense the body of primitive level control and the will to transform the realm, they forced their own way, resulting in wasting their own potential, and they would never be promoted to 10 realm level controllers. This is the conclusion that countless practitioners have been trying for countless years. Soon, the auction will continue. Later, something better gradually appeared, which was helpful for the 8 realms level chapter controllers, and even the 9 realms level controllers. The next auction item is 3 Wanxiang statues. This time the owner of the Wanxiang statues has a special request. He doesn't want any treasures. He only needs to solve his physical problems. Kitano controller said. At this time, an 8 realms level controller appeared. It's the mysterious figure controller. How did he become like this? Some Eternal Masters were surprised. At this time, the physical body of the mysterious figure controller is constantly collapsing, but relying on a treasure to continuously heal the physical body. His body in control collapsed. The Snow Maiden controller frowned. The body in control collapses and cannot heal, which is not a small problem. At this time, the master of the mysterious map said, I have been unable to progress for countless years. I left the original source realm and explored the depths of the realm. I accidentally fell into a special place, encountered danger, and the body of 9th level control collapsed. Although I used treasures to forcibly keep my body, but I can't cure it. I have tried many treasures to heal the body, but they don't work. This is not an injury, but the body in control has collapsed from the root, so I can only ask you, if someone can help me solve the problem, or come up with a solution to the problem, the 3 statues of Wanxiang will be given directly, and I can also give away most of my net worth. Quote. The master of the mysterious map, if you abandon the body in control, will you retake it with your will? Or will you be reincarnated? An eternal master suggested. No. The master of Xuantu shook his head. The collapse of the body in control directly affects the will. Our will is originally fused with the physical body, so the root cause collapses, and the will and soul are within the scope of collapse. Once it completely collapses, it is me day of the fall. 1. Immediately, one eternal master tried to deduce, but could not deduce the result. But soon, these eternal masters saw that this was indeed not an injury, or a special injury, and even the source of life water could not save the master of the mysterious map. The 3 Wanxiang statues do have a lot of value, but unfortunately we can't solve them. An eternal master said, everyone, I can persist for a while, if you have any ideas, please contact me immediately. The mysterious figure controller requested. He didn't dare to make any attempt on his body, so he could only rely on other eternal masters. In this way, the 3 Wanxiang statues this time passed. The next auction item, Bai Jinlian, this treasure should not be unfamiliar to everyone. It can improve the body of primitive control. The body of primitive control is almost the pinnacle of control. On this basis, although it can continue to improve slowly, the improvement is very large, and the golden lotus is one of the few treasures that can improve the body of primitive control. Kitano controller introduced. 100-leaf golden lotus, it's a good thing. A 9 realms level controller showed interest. Such good things, even the 9 realms level controllers yearn for it. And Yi Tian's expression changed, which was of great use to him. But, Yi Tian didn't think he had any hope of winning the auction. He didn't have too many good things on him. Unless the treasure that the owner of the golden lotus needed happened to be his own, he could only hope to win the auction. Otherwise, he has no hope of winning the auction at all. The master of Kitano, what treasure does the other party want in exchange? For flowers, a 9 realms level controller urged and asked. The immortality of the flesh is one of the 3 gods' immortality techniques. The other party only needs this secret technique. If not, then it will be aborted, said Kitano controller. It turned out to be this secret technique. Many eternal masters frowned, because this secret technique is very rare, and it can only be inherited 3 times. In other words, the Sea of Origins only allows 3 eternal masters to practice this secret technique. If 3 masters have already practiced, they must strip off their own physical indestruction technique, form an inheritance, and hand it over to others. And the eternal master who has already practiced the indestructible art of the body is not necessarily willing to strip away the art of indestruction of the body. However, the golden lotus is indeed precious. Just when everyone was about to pass the shot, the controller of the 9 realms level controller Pingyao said, I have the inheritance of the indestructible technique of the flesh. 1 inch. Then, the Pingyao controller stripped off his own indestructible technique. The indestructible light of the flesh is condensed on his body, and the inheritance of the immortality of the flesh in the will has also been stripped out, and finally turned into a light of inheritance. At this time, the person of peace has completely forgotten the content of the physical indestruction technique, which is the stripping price. Soon, the controller of Pingyao exchanged the inheritance of the indestructible technique for the 100-leaf golden lotus. Pingyao controller, you are really willing to give up the indestructible art? A 9 realms level controller said, 100-leaf golden lotus is more valuable to me. As for the immortality of the flesh, I give up if I give up. If I can't get the 3 gods of immortality together, it is of little significance. The controller of Pingyao said, I don't know who exchanged the 100-leaf golden lotus for the indestruction of the body. The other party is afraid that he has collected the other 2 secret arts, so he is willing to pay such a price. This is the ultimate secret technique of the master of the 3 gods. Yeah, the master of the 3 gods, what an ancient master of the 10th realm, who was almost invincible at the beginning, but unfortunately he finally fell. If he didn't fall, there might be hope now that he could surpass the 10th realm level. Soon, everyone stopped discussing. Because, another amazing treasure has been auctioned. Chapter 1899 4th Senior Sister with Deep Pockets. The next auction item is Black Thunder Grass. Kitano controller said. Black Thunder Grass, many eternal controllers above the 8th realm level are no strangers. This is a treasure that can enhance the will of the metamorphosis realm, but only one can be refined, and the second one has no effect. Therefore, the eternal controller who owns the Black Thunder Grass should have already refined one, so he traded the second one in exchange for the treasure he needed. The master of Kitano continued. The Black Thunder Grass auction only accepts treasures that enhance the body of primitive control. Treasures for treasures are normal. Therefore, this auction belongs to the exchange of two types of treasures. Although Yi Tian wanted the Black Thunder Grass very much, he did not have the corresponding treasure, so he could only watch. Soon, the grass of Black Thunder was auctioned off by a 9,953 world-level controller. As time passed, each treasure was auctioned off, making Yi Tian's knowledge soar. In the outside world, such treasures can hardly be seen, and even enough to trigger a war between the 9 realms level controllers, but here, they are auctioned out one by one. No one dared to come and snatch it. After all, this is the headquarters of the Jihei Chamber of Commerce, and even a 10-realm level controller would not dare to come here to make trouble. Suddenly, the controller of Kitano said, "The next is the 3 finale items of this auction, all of which are very precious treasures. First of all, we will auction the first treasure, the Celestial Stone." 1. It's finally the turn of the Celestial Stone auction. The Snow Maiden controllers showed a strong interest, and the few 9 realms level controllers also showed great enthusiasm. Yi Tian didn't know what the Celestial World Stone was, so he was a little puzzled. Then, he contacted the Snow Maiden controller and asked, "Fourth senior sister, what is the Celestial Stone?" The Snow Maiden controller introduced, "Heavenly Boundary Stone is one of the treasures that can increase the success rate of opening up a boundary river, and it is also one of my goals for participating in this auction." I see. Yi Tian understood. Being able to increase the success rate of opening up a boundary river, these treasures are naturally the treasures most desired by those 9-level controllers who want to impact the 10-level controllers. Of course, most of the 9 realms level controllers would not bid for the Celestial Boundary Stone, because they had long since lost their hope of opening up a boundary river to become a 10th realm level controller. These 9 realms level controllers are almost the same as Yi Tian's elder brother Zhang Yu, who have exhausted their potential ahead of time and will never be able to become 10 world level controllers. Therefore, they naturally wouldn't spend a huge price to bid for a celestial stone that was of little help to him. They can only try their best to improve some strengths at the level of 9 realms level controllers, such as relying on certain secret techniques or other methods. Of course, they also look forward to the birth of other paths in the future Sea of Origin. After all, the current practice path has also been opened up. Whether it is a will-turned form or a primitive level control body, it is created from nothing, and the change of the self-created path and the opening of the boundary river are also created. Therefore, if there are other paths, there is still hope for them to become 10 realms level controllers. However, there is little hope. In the endless years of the Source Realm, no other paths have been born, and even those great beings above the 10 realm level have no way to deduce other paths. Therefore, their limit is roughly the level of the 9 realms level controller. At this time, the Celestial Stone has begun to bid, and the owner of the Celestial Stone requires that the treasure that enhances the will of the metamorphosis or the body controlled by the primitive level is exchanged. In the end, after some competition, the Snow Maiden controller succeeded in obtaining the Celestial Stone, but he also paid a lot of treasures. In fact, in this era of the Source Realm Sea, there were only a few controllers who were qualified to attack the 10 realms, and among them, there were only a few who were close to the 10 realms, so there were not many competitors for the Snow Maiden controllers. Otherwise, she would not have been able to bid for the Celestial Stone so easily. Soon, the second finale item was put up for auction. This time, it is still one of the treasures that helps to open up the boundary river, but it is not the Celestial Stone, but 1,000 clouds, and its value is even higher than the Celestial Stone. This time the auction was still very fierce, and the person who finally won the auction was still the controller of Snow Maiden. 2 treasures that helped to open up the boundary river were photographed in succession, and everyone congratulated the master of the Snow Maiden. The Snow Maiden controller is rich and powerful, and actually took out so many treasures. Even the average 10 realm level controller does not necessarily have so many treasures. With the background of the Snow Girl controller, and now I have obtained the Keonyan Breath Soil and the Heaven Stone, I am afraid that there is a great hope to open up the boundary river, and use the power of the boundary river to break the shackles in one fell swoop and be promoted to the 10 realm level controller. If the Snow Girl controller is promoted to the Snow Girl controller, it will step into another circle, and I will congratulate the Snow Girl controller in advance here. Only they know how many people sincerely congratulate the many eternal masters. But the Snow Maiden controller is very clear that most of these people are envious and jealous, rather than sincerely congratulating. She didn't care either, she was only excited at this moment. Fortunately, I borrowed a lot of treasures from senior brother Gumo and senior brother Hixie early on, otherwise it would be really difficult to photograph these two treasures. The Snow Girl controller secretly said. After a while, the third finale item, that is, the last finale item, was put up for auction. The last finale item, a piece of Dalian stone in Devil's Heart Valley. Kitano controller said, "What, the Dalian stone of Devil Heart Valley, who would put it up for auction?" Many Eternal Masters were surprised. Dalian stone. Devil's Valley. Yi Tian was puzzled again, what is this 5.8? But soon, he learned the situation from the fourth senior sister Shui Nu's controller. Devil's Heart Valley is a place in the sea of the Source World, a place that has been forbidden for a long time, but now everyone dreams of a treasured place. If you want to enter Devil's Heart Valley, if you don't have 5, it's hard to walk a few inches. The Dalian stone is only available in the depths of the Devil's Heart Valley, and only the top 10 realms level controllers can go deep into the Devil's Heart Valley and find the Dalian stone. But even so, Dalian stones are still very rare. But if they don't hold the Dalian stone, the 9 realms level controllers will fall and die if they enter the Devil's Heart Valley. As for the benefits of Devil Heart Valley, the Snow Girl controller did not say, because he was afraid that Yi Tian would trespass without authorization. When the strength becomes stronger in the future, and the Dalian stone is obtained, then enter the Devil's Heart Valley. Yi Tian secretly said. Chapter 1900 Trying to solve the physical problem of the mysterious figure controller. The Dalian stone of Demon Heart Valley, this treasure is very valuable, even a 9 realm level controller may not be able to get the treasure in exchange for it. At this time, many Eternal Masters are very curious about what treasures the owner of the Dalian stone wants to trade at this auction. I saw the Master of Kitano said. This time, I will only accept the cursed black stone in the bidding for the Dalian stone. Curse Blackstone, what does this guy want to curse Blackstone? Many Eternal Masters are curious. Yi Tian didn't know what the cursed black stone was, but he soon knew. It turns out that the cursed black stone is a kind of stone in the depths of the world. It does not seem to be uncommon. It contains a terrible power of curse. Even if the body of the 7-level controller touches the cursed black stone, he will be affected by the power of the curse, influences. Of course, the power of the curse can be dispelled. But so far, only this effect has been found. Many 9 realms level masters have collected a lot of cursed black stones, which can be used for Leona curse weapons, or sold to Eternal Masters who drill the way of the curse. However, it is a bit outrageous to exchange the Dalian stone for the cursed black stone. The value of the two is not at the same level. 29. If the other party collects it publicly in the Sea of Origin, he will definitely be able to exchange ordinary treasures for the cursed black stone, but once a large number of purchases are made, it will attract the attention of other Eternal Masters and his identity cannot be concealed. Now, using the auction by obtaining a large amount of cursed black stones, he will not reveal his identity, and the headquarters of the Jihei Chamber of Commerce will also protect the identity of customers. The Snow Girl controller roughly guessed why the other party auctioned the cursed black stone at the auction. And other Eternal Masters have basically guessed it. However, why the other party did this, there is no guess. The owner of the Dalian stone, did he research other uses of the cursed black stone, and it is of great value? Yi Tian guessed. If this is the case, it is somewhat understandable for the other party to exchange the Dalian stone for the cursed black stone. At the same time, the other party is also afraid that others will ask about the situation, so they dare not disclose their identity. But even so, many Eternal Masters are willing to exchange the cursed black stone for the sound stone. The Dalian stone is of great value to them, but cursing the black stone will not work. At the same time, a 9-realm level controller dispatched avatars or will clones to collect the cursed black stone, and perhaps purchase the cursed black stone of other Eternal controllers so as to compete for the Dalian stone. It is conceivable that in the end, the Eternal Master who has no hope of obtaining the Dalian stone will definitely sell the Dalian stone in his hand to other Eternal Masters, and in the end, the curse of the black stone will be concentrated on a few people. As a result, a large number of cursed black stones in the Source Realm Sea will gather here and be traded away by that mysterious person. 1,000 cursed black stones. The Snow Maiden controller bid. I gave 2,000 cursed black stones. Said another 9 realms level controller. The 9 realms level controllers kept making quotations. As for those 8 realms level controllers, even if they often went to the realm of the realm, it was estimated that they would not be able to find many cursed black stones, so they did not make quotations. Instead, they contacted each of the 9 realms level controllers. The masters secretly sold the cursed blackstone to them. At this time, if you sell the cursed blackstone, you will definitely be able to sell it at a high price. Such an opportunity is only now, and when the auction ends, the cursed blackstone will not have such a high value. Soon, the auction price of Daoyan stone climbed to tens of thousands of cursed black stones, but there was still no sign of stopping. 20,000, 30,000, 50,000. Before I knew it, the auction price of 100,000 cursed blackstone came out. At this time, there were not many 9 realms level controllers still bidding, and even the Snow Maiden controller gave up. The Snow Girl controller didn't have many cursed black stones, and she was really poor now, and she didn't have many treasures to find someone to trade the cursed black stones, so there was no way to collect the cursed black stones to compete for the auction. So, she can only give up 250,000 cursed black stone. The 9 realms level controller said the Palm Sky controller. The offer of the Palm Sky controller directly caused the remaining 3 9 world level controllers to give up. At this time, the 3 9 realms level controllers secretly negotiated. Our 3 cursed blackstones together can surpass the cursed blackstone of the Master of the Sky. How about I buy your cursed blackstone? Hee, why didn't I buy your cursed blackstone? Well, the 3 of us bid each other, and whoever has the highest price will buy it. How? Okay, that's it. The 3 9 realms level controllers quickly made quotations one by one, and after some competition, the Yongye controller finally bought the cursed black stones of the other 2 9 realms level controllers. At this time, the controller of the Eternal Night cursed blackstone 350,000. I gave 280,000 cursed blackstone. The Eternal Night controller made an offer. 29,000 cursed black stones. The Master of the Sky gritted his teeth. This is all the cursed black stones he collected, and it is already the limit. 300,000 cursed black stones, said the controller of Eternal Night. Damn, the Master of the Sky was extremely angry. Immediately, he contacted the 2 Eternal Masters who had just competed with him, and wanted to acquire their cursed black stone. Sorry, the Master of the Sky, our cursed black stone has been given to the Master of the Eternal Night. If you bought it earlier, we might be able to give it to you. The 2 responded. Hearing this news, the Master of the Sky was extremely desperate. Right now, he can't collect the cursed black stone anymore. The point is, Daoyan stone didn't get the auction. What's the use of him wanting these cursed blackstones, and in order to acquire so many cursed blackstones, he paid a huge price of 953, this time it was a big loss. Master of the Sky, it seems that you don't have any more curses on the black stone, so I am the one who has the last laugh this time. The Master of Eternal Night said excitedly. Humph, the Master of the Sky snorted coldly and said nothing. In this way, the controller of Kitano announced that the winner of the auction was the controller of Yongye. So far, this auction is completely over. For this auction, Yi Tian has a lot of knowledge and saw a lot of good things. However, he did not bid on any treasures because he could not afford to bid. The only 3 Wanxiang statues that are valued, the other party does not exchange treasures, just to save lives. It seems that we must start from the Master of the Mysterious Map, and he must solve his physical problems before he will give me the 3 Wanxiang statues. Yi Tian thought to himself. After returning from the Jihei Chamber of Commerce headquarters, Yi Tian decided to copy the body of the mysterious figure controller first, and then slowly study it himself. The body of the mysterious figure controller has only 1 life, and he does not dare to experiment indiscriminately. But Yi Tian is not afraid. It doesn't matter if his cloned body falls, he just pays some resources, he can clone it again and again. If he can solve the physical problem of the mysterious figure controller, he can obtain 3 more statues of Wanxiang. This kind of business, he naturally wants to do. Then start copying, Yi Tian muttered.